Wow, buterevo oli ku BBS telefayina yafe ey'obwakabaka bwa Buganda. Bulijjo tuze tukutegeeza nti olunaku olwaleero tujja kutuusaako buterevo bannaffe aba diaspora nga bagenda maaso n'okubaganya ebirowoozo n'okubaako engeri gye bateesa ku nsonga ez'enjawulo ezibakwatako abali mu diaspora ate mu ngeri y'emu n'ebitongole ebiri wano mu ggwanga lyattu Uganda ebikolagana nabo mu ngeri ez'enjawulo. Nga tumalako omwaka gwe ali wano e Uganda oyinza okwagala okufuna munno gw'okolagana naye bizinesi ng'ali bweru wa ggwanga ate mu ngeri y'emu nawe ali ebweru gwanga oyinza okwetaaga mu Uganda ali wano gw'oyinza okolagana naye mu business. Naye waliwo ebitongole bingi ebiyamba okutereereza mu nteekateeka gy'oyagala okubanga obeera nayo okula ekitongole ekiwooza ky'omusolo ekya URA okuli bannaffe abannira abakuyambako okufuna endagamuntu obwebanga oyagala okubeera n'enteekateeka y'okuba ne dual citizenship era butereevu ekitongole ekya Internal Affairs wano ate nga kisobola n'okuyambako ne bw'obanga oli bweru wa ggwanga mu ngeri y'emu. Waliwo n'ebitongole bingi ebirala by'oyinza okwetaaga naddala mu nteekateeka eya business gamba nga banks ez'enjawulo gamba nga insurance. Kano kekadde kemufuna omukisa ba diaspora okubaganya ebirowoozo ne agency ezo butereevu ng'ate basinzira bitundu ebyenjawulo mu ggwanga. Omwaka guwedde enteekateeka eno yaliwo era muganda wange Solomon Seranja yali moderator n'agenda maaso okugikubiriza n'olunaku olwaleero agenda kutwegatako okubanga butereevu ate enteekateeka eno ya Uganda Diaspora Business Expo nayo egenda maaso wadde eri mu nteekateeka evakyo olw'ensonga nti tuli mu COVID-19 nekkiriza butereevu. Nze Morris Mukibe Mugave nkuwe ate muganda wange Solomon Serwanja abeere nga butereevu atutwala asooka atuwe kyali kitya omwaka oguwedde ate omwaka guno oba olunaku olwaleero tusubire ki mu nteekateeka eriwo kati ku ssaawa eno. Solomon Serwanja butereevu oli ku BBS telefayina yaffe sooka otuwe embeera nga bwe yali ate era tugende butereevu ne ku lunaku olwaleero.
Watu watukoze bulungi tweyanzege kozi wetwalinga tuwayamu omwaka ogwedde twalaba abantu ab'enjawulo abavaayo ne boogera ku nsonga ezaali zibaluma okugeza wabeerawo abantu abagezaako okwapulayinga ffe kye tuyita mu luzungu dual citizenship
okuba n'obutuuze obwannamasasaana
obw'emirundi ebiri nti obeera UK naye ate oyinza n'okufuna passport ye Uganda. Bangi bavayo ne bagamba nti bagezezzaako okuteekayo okusaba kwabwe okufuna obutuuze buno obw'emirundi ebiri naye bafunamu issues. Kyo kyaki leero twagala kuleeta ab'obuyinza abava mu immigration ya Uganda banyonyola abantu. Ekirala waliwo amateeka gaze gakyuka simanyi Morris oba obadde okimanyi nti URA yataddewo amateeka amapya oba oli wagula ttaka nadditunda
real estate olina okubadde tiini okubaako omusolo ogw'enjawulo gwowa. Waliwo
abantu ababadde ebweru nga baweereza ssente okuzimba okitegeera naye kati waliwo amateeka amapya agazze. So ebintu bino byonna twagala tubitegeeze bannaffe abali mawanga ag'ebweru naye nga bannayuganda balinga ffe. Waliwo ensonga endala ey'okufuna national ID kozi obanga oli munnayuganda ng'obeera bweru osobola okufuna national ID naye ogifunye otya kozi waliwo abatubuuzaako nti naye bagenda ku embassies ez'enjawulo bafuna obuzibu n'ekyo twagala oleeta abakulu abanira bajje batubulire bakoze eki okugonjoola issues ezibaddewo ez'enjawulo ku nsonga zino wammanga kozi neuli twafunako abantu baali boogera ku nsonga eri ku investinga mu COVID-19 atukubye nnyo
business nezitawaanamu katonotono
byakyankalanya nnyo si katonotono Morris naye nga Uganda Investments Authority yavaayo nebagumya negaba ne Uganda ekikyali kifo kya nkizo nnyo mwe muyinza oteeka ssente zammwe naye nga olabye COVID figures ezibadde zijja nga ziva ewa bannaffe abali mu diaspora zikendeddemu katono okugeza nti duli baweerezanga ssente nnyingi ate ssente eno zino nnyingi contribution kyezikola okukuza economy y'amaanyi nnyo naye engeri COVID weyabigogotanya nnyo omuntu yali akuweerezayo emitwalo 10 kati nga atakuweereza mutwalo weyakuweereza edda twagambanga tuweerezeyo akanamba
ngokalindaawo
naye kakati waliwo engeri ez'enjawulo ez'okuweerezamu ssente naye ssente zino zakenderamu kubanga bannaffe ababadde ababeera mu diaspora COVID yabanyiga nnyo n'ekyo ebimu ebyaliwoko omwaka ogwedde naye tuwooza nti omwaka guno tugenda kuba ebirowoozo ku bintu ebyenjawulo kozi nga mulimu ensonga za tugenda kwogerako ne Minister wa Finance atubulire engeri government wegenda oyambamu abantu abali mu diaspora okutumbula omutindo gwabwe basobole okuza sente n'okuyongeza contribution yabo.
Weewaawo twayanza nnyo twayanzege era Solomon njagala butereevu ate otandike ey'olunaku olwaleero bannayuganda bagoberere basobole okuba nti bayigamu nkutegeeza gwe ali wano n'ali ebweru eggwanga kino kikuyamba kubanga oyinza okwagala okukolagana n'ali ebweru ate n'owebweru ayinza okwetaaga okukolagana naawe yenteekateeka eriwo olunaku olwaleero. Solomon Solwanja genda maaso n'enteekateeka.
Morris twayanza nnyo tweyanzege weebale nnyo weebalire ddala. Twagala okuddamu okwaniriza abalabi baffe ku BBS Telefina kozi n'aba batulaba ku mikutu egy'enjawulo ku Facebook ne ku Zoom, ku Twitter, ku Instagram. Mbadde nsaba munzikirize nti ngenda kwogera Oluzungu n'Oluganda kozi nti tulina bannaffe abagenda otulaba abava mu nsi ez'enjawulo ng'ate Oluganda si lukalo olulimi lwe bategeera. Noekyo mbadde nsaba munzikirize nti nja kuddako mu Luzungu ne mu Luganda kasavu kanyama. So I want to say a special thank you to everyone who has joined us for this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us for this entire event. It's going to be about 3 hours where we're going to be interacting with members from the diaspora. A special thank you to everyone who is watching us from the United States. And of course, I mean, it's very early in the morning. I think it's about 8 o'clock East US time, and it's about 1 p.m. in the UK. And I don't know what the time is in Canada, but it's about 10 minutes after 4 in Uganda. That, of course, encompasses the bigger part of East Africa. So thank you so much for joining us today for the Uganda Diaspora Business Expo 2021. My name is Solomon Serwanja and I'm the Executive Director of the African Institute for Investigative Journalism. I'm super excited to be hosting this event annually where we get all of us in the diaspora and also people here at home to discuss, among other issues, investment opportunities, but also the challenges that we've been facing in our different locations across the world, and also to bring you up close and personal with the people who are supposed to be solving those challenges. We will also be giving an opportunity for Ugandans here to speak back to you and also to involve you. I mean, this is a whole community. We've been meeting every year in Uganda. Unfortunately, this time it hasn't been able to happen because of COVID-19. I mean, there is a big surge here in Uganda. A number of cases have significantly increased. The UK is also struggling. The US too. I mean, COVID-19 is here, but we have to live with it. It has come with its own opportunities and challenges as well. And speaking of challenges, we've not been able to come. We've been always gathering at the Kampala Serena for our Uganda Diaspora Business Expo, and breakfast and dinner and gala and having fun and being able to hug, and share those moments. I always miss them. Hopefully things will get better. I missed them last year. I'm missing them again this year. But I'm just praying that maybe next year we should be able to come back home and get together and break bread and share opportunities as they come in. So again, from wherever you're watching, thank you very much. From Canada, from Ottawa, Toronto, from the US, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from China, from Russia, everywhere you are from across the globe. Thank you for joining us, and a special thank you to our sponsors who have made this broadcast possible and this event possible. I want to say a special thank you to the National Housing Construction who have actually pumped a lot of money in this event. Thank you very much, National Housing, for investing in this event and making it happen. A special thank you to Remax Uganda. Thank you very much. Equity Bank, thank you very much for supporting us. Post Bank, thank you for supporting us. The Canada Africa Chamber, thank you very much. And that, of course, is led by my very good friend Susan Namulindwa. Thank you very much for supporting us this year. Also to the Uganda community in Ottawa, thank you very much for supporting us. Afro TV, always streaming for us. Thank you very much for making this happen. And the Uganda North America Association, San Francisco, thank you very much. And of course, a special thank you to the Uganda Diaspora Network that makes sure this event happens annually in association with the Uganda Investments Authority. Say no more solo. Let's go and get an opening prayer from the Reverend Eddie Jumba, who is live for us from Toronto. He says, Toronto. Well, in Uganda, we say Toronto, Canada. Reverend Eddie Jumba, it's good to have you today, and a very good evening from this side. I don't know what time it is in Ottawa, but a very, very good evening from all of us here in Uganda. Pastor Eddie, why don't you usher us into the presence of God so that we can get this event started? Pastor Eddie, you're very welcome.
One Toronto. So can Charlie Munamazaka Songamba Toronto. So on this very special day, it is my honor, protocol observed, to welcome you all. First of all, to thank the organizers, but also take a minute to usher into this event, into the presence of God. My very heartfelt prayers of condolences and comfort go to all of you that are in one way or form, in one form or another, grieving your loss of different kinds. That could be a person, could be business-related loss. My condolences and my prayers for comfort go out to you. I acknowledge the presence of all of you that have joined today. Greetings from my family here, my wife Bernadette and my kids Tendo and Mkisa, to all of you across the globe, in Uganda for sure, to my family in Masaka, Mwanyinaze, Mbalamusiza, Mukama Abampero Mukisa. My job here is to pray as we start, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. And as I do that, I thank you, my brother Ronnie, and the people that you're working with that make sure that this thing happens every year. And may God continue to provide enablement. When I speak without a scripture, I have not spoken. So the Bible says in the Gospel of Luke that it tells a story where Jesus fed the 5,000 people and more. But really it says that all he used was 5 loaves of bread and 2 pieces of fish. And to me, today my call, as I pondered on what to say this morning as we pray, is to invite all the business people that are here to remember that God is not expecting you to worry about how the 5,000 will be fed. He's concerned that you present your 5 bread, your 5 pieces of your 2 fish, your 2 fish, and your 5 loaves of bread. As you think about those that are lacking, as you think about those that are not in the same position as you are in, it is on my heart to deposit it on your heart this morning. To remember that thing you have these days called corporate social responsibility as you carry on this business. And I pray for flourishing for you all business people that are here. Okay, let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, Lord, I thank you first of all for the blessing and for the miracle. Yes, it is a miracle of life itself. It is true that many people have not lived to see this day. It is true that many people, even as we speak right now, are dying. And Lord, for those that are still breathing, those that are still here, Lord, I take a moment, I take a pause to say thank you for the grace. It's not because they have taken so good care of themselves that we are here. It is not because of anything special that we have done. It is absolutely your grace that some of us are still here. And for that, we thank you. Lord, as we start this Uganda Diaspora Expo, Lord, I pray for your presence to take over, that everybody who is going to speak will speak blessings into the people that are listening, that everybody who is going to speak will be a blessing to those that have come. Lord, I pray for every business that is represented here. Mukama Katonda balaba omukisa buli nsigo gye bagenda okusiga mu business yaabwe omwaka guno ogutandika, era omukisa balaba amagoba ate betabe mu kukuza obwakabaka bw'oku nsi kuno, that they will participate in growing and developing your kingdom here on earth. Lord, I pray for increase, I pray for expansion, I pray for growth. Yes, individually, but also as businesses and also as a nation of Uganda. I pray for peace, I pray for protection, I pray for provision for individuals and for all the families that are represented here. And as we continue this event, may your presence lead all of us, and may we follow as you lead. I pray all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen and amen. Thank you, my brother Solomon. Allow be it for me, and greetings here from Dominion Church International, Toronto. I wish every single one of us here a very fruitful and productive conversation. God bless you all.
Reverend Eddie Jumba, thank you very much. Reverend Eddie is live from Toronto, Canada. Rev, thank you very much for ushering us before the presence of God. We appreciate you and share our love and heartfelt greetings to your family and to all the Ugandans in Toronto and in Ottawa and in the entire Canada. Thank you very much. Hopefully we can be able to hear from some of them. Well, it's time for us to listen in from our patron and to get welcoming remarks from Dr. Maggie Chigozi. Dr. Maggie, Mama, we want to welcome you. Please officially welcome people who are on this call and with your smile and love from Uganda. Dr. Maggie, you're welcome.
Very much, Solomon. I want to start by saying amen to the prayer by Pastor Eddie Jumba, and hope that it will continue to actually go as he has prayed for us, especially the issue of peace. As patron of the Uganda Diaspora Network, mine is to welcome you to this virtual business expo. I recognize the Ugandans living in the diaspora and why we host this every year. Ambassador Katende, our own Ronnie, who is the brains and the muscle behind the Diaspora Network. We do have our own Ugandans, the Director General UIA, Uganda Tourism Board, the business community, and most importantly, of course, you, the Ugandans living abroad. COVID-19, yes, as you've just heard, has changed our lives, not only in Uganda, but globally. We know you are facing various challenges, just as we are. We cannot exclude it from today's discussion. This event has always been in Uganda, as Ronnie has just said, but still, we are struggling and it is continuing virtually. So why are we here? That's a question. The health and wealth of you Ugandans living abroad is important to us. You are our relatives, you are friends. We want you to be well. We wish to encourage you to retire back home in the friendly arms of your extended family and not in the home for the elderly in your adopted country. The loneliness you face there, I walk down Kampala Road and everyone says, "Good morning, doctor. Good morning, mama," or Jaja even. And so this is about you and the two countries that you love so much. Secondly, the contribution that you to your adopted country. I know you're living there and you are serving a role in that country. We have been able to provide information about opportunities in your own country or through UNA, through the UK convention and others in other countries. We have been able to share information with you on what opportunities are in your own countries. We've discussed education for your children and skills available that you could get in your adopted countries so that you contribute better to that country. But number three, we really want you to contribute to your home country, Uganda. Remittances, because of COVID-19, were valued at 1.4 billion in 2019, but they have reduced to 1.1 billion in 2020, and Bank of Uganda will tell us what it is in 2021. We want to thank you. You contribute mainly to education, to health, feeding of your family, we hope you will contribute to a home for yourself so that when you come back, you can be comfortable. Property companies are here and they'll be able to discuss that with you and share possibilities. We also want to encourage opportunities for your family. We know your families depend on you. We keep on asking you for school fees, for this and the other, which really hampers your own progress. So we want to talk about the opportunities that your families can do here in Uganda. And UIA has a huge project profile that they will share with you. We also want to encourage you to do business in Uganda. Start your business. When you come back, you just continue. Many of you, and I want to thank you, have invested in so many sectors. You have invested in trade. Some of you sell our products over there, import and sell our products. Some of you sell to us what we need from your home country, your adopted country. You have invested in tourism. We have a number of hotels. You have invested in health, agriculture. Again, UIA and UTB will give you more information. Those of you who have not invested yet, or maybe want to look at more opportunities. Today, I am here, as Ronnie said earlier, to give you an opportunity to support an institution that made most of us. I was appointed 3 months ago by the Makerere University Council as chair of the Makerere Foundation. I took over from the illustrious, powerful Dr. Martin Alike. I could not say no, as truly, Makerere University made me who I am. When I had to leave Uganda, I was working at Mulago and landed in Zambia. I climbed up the stairs to the Ministry of Health and came down with a job. Why? Same thing when I got to Nairobi. I lived in Nairobi for some 6 years. Again, went up the stairs, came down 2 hours later with a job. Why did that happen? Because I was able to show my Makerere University medical degree that they could not, they had absolutely no problem with. So Makerere did it for us. It made us who we are. So how do we give back? We want to share with you the possibility. The Endowment Fund has been in place since 2014, and right now there is about 9 billion shillings on the fund through the present students, and we have something called the Makerere Run and we want to increase the opportunities. We think you are truly grateful. This is an institution that is among the top in Africa. I think we were number 4 recently. In research, we are absolutely the top. That is the university that we should be proud of. But it is hampered by finance. We cannot overcharge our students. We cannot afford it. And yet there is need for, infrastructure. There is need for scholarships, research, and other things. So funding is required by Makerere University. And if you really feel it made you, it contributed to who you are, I think you would really be wanting to participate. But we need to make it easy. So we are working. I've only been the chair for 2 months, and we are now working on the website. You'll be able to link to the website and know exactly what is happening and what we expect of you. We are setting up the opportunity for you to contribute as an alumni. We want an alumni database. So if you're in Makerere, please let us know. You are in Makerere. We know the ones who are there now. I'm talking to you who left some years ago. Please let us know so that we add you to the alumni database in case it is incomplete. And then we'll give you opportunities to contribute, like annually or a one-off. And we are really thinking how to make it easy for you. Luckily with digital, which is really growing in Uganda, we will be able to make it very easy to pay for you to contribute and for us to send you your receipt immediately and to also share with you opportunities of what else is required. Your old hall, say if you were in Mitchell Hall or like I was in Africa Hall, if it requires renovations for the younger students who are there now, maybe it is something you could look at. So I think I'd better stop there. That's the Makerere University Foundation. We are coming back to you, and of course, Ronnie will be very, very useful with the Diaspora Network and the magazine. We will be able to get information to you. We'll also try to participate in all your future meetings, COVID allowing. So please stay safe, and we are very happy that you're with us here today, and we look forward to having a very interesting discussion. Solomon, back to you. Thank you so much. Ronnie, well done. And the whole team that's been working on this, thank you so much. Bye.
Doctor, thank you very much. Oh, right now it's Professor Maggie Chigozi. Thank you very much, Prof, for always nurturing us and carrying us in your palms. Thank you very much for encouraging us, especially us to come back home and invest. So that really was great. But also the Makerere University Foundation, I would want to also implore everyone who is watching from Uganda to go ahead and support the Makerere University Foundation. Many of us have moved through this great university, including myself, by the way. Dr. Maggie should be able to come over and see how I can support in my own capacity. But also for the members in the diaspora, you can, come back and support the university. Professor Maggie Chigozi, thank you very much for being our patron. If you've just joined us, this is the Uganda Diaspora Homecoming Gala and Expo 2021. And we want to say a special thank you to our partners, including Bank of Uganda. Thank you very much. The National Housing and Construction Company. Thank you very much. The Ministry of Internal Affairs, Housing Finance Bank. Thank you. The Uganda Investments Authority. Thank you very much. Uganda Tourism Board, the Uganda Revenue Authority, Remax Uganda, and of course, again, Housing Finance Bank. Thank you very much for supporting this cause. So I just wanted to give Ronnie Mayanja an opportunity, a minute or two, because he's one of the people behind this. He works very hard to ensure that this event happens every year. I always take the limelight. So Ronnie, you're very welcome to also welcome our online audience and all of those who are watching us on BBS Telefina, and just remind us about why it is important to organize this annually. Ronnie Mayanja.
It's a great pleasure to see you in your element. And again, good morning, good evening, and thank you so much for all those who are tuning in. Wherever you're tuning in, I would like to thank Dr. Maggie Chigozi again for the support, and all those who have supported us through the years. I never like to be in the front of camera. Lately, I like to be one of those people who move things from the back end. But once again, I would like to thank BBS Telefina, Mr. Patrick Sembajo, and the management of BBS. Thank you so much for believing in this vision and giving us a voice. Many times it's very hard for us to get our agenda out there just because we are outside Uganda. Oftentimes we are caught in a situation whereby the message is left out. So one of the things that I'm grateful is that Patrick Sembajo and the management of BBS have given us an opportunity and a voice to be able to do what we do. So with that, I would like to, I'm getting feedback here. So thank you so much for the support, and we hope that we will be able to, again, be there for you if you guys need anything as far as the diaspora is concerned. Once again, to the partners and the sponsors, thank you for the support through the years, and we look forward to a great discussion ahead. So once again, to the team, Shadrach Olinga, and everybody who has made it happen at the Uganda Diaspora Network, thank you so much, and we look forward to a great discussion. Thank you.
And there spent sleepless nights to make this happen. Good morning to you, Ronnie from Massachusetts. Thank you very much for making sure this happens annually. We are really grateful. All right, so I have a couple of friends who are in the diaspora, and sometimes I encourage them to come back home. So I tell them, you know what, come back home. Maybe you've worked 30, 40, 50 years, come back home. And one of them asked me to come home to do what? Will I be able to survive on these streets of Kampala? Will they be able to pay me like how I'm being paid now? I come back to what? What do you want me to come back to do? I'm already, used of staying this side. The system is different. Kampala is different. One of them complained about the dust, the chaos, everything else. And yet we have people like Dr. Maggie Chigozi who came back home. And pretty much because they decided to come back home and invest. So I've always been encouraging most of them to invest back home, put money back home. And this is why I want to now, bring in the Uganda Investments Authority, whose sole mandate is to encourage people in the diaspora and Ugandans to invest back home. Are there any special, special arrangements for Ugandans in the diaspora to come and invest back home? I also know that the Uganda Investments Authority is moving around the country to interest local investors, and local meaning, but you're also Ugandan. So that means that the opportunities that come with it, you're also entitled to them. All right, let me bring in Rita Nabaterega, who is the Senior Investments Executive, to come and talk to us about insights on investment opportunities available at the Uganda Investments Authority, and specifically for people living in the diaspora. If you're out there and you're thinking, what should I invest in? Is investing even, what are the different steps that I have to go through to invest in? What does it take to open up a company? Is it easy? What is the turnaround time for opening up the company? How is government supporting me? All these questions are going to be answered by Rita. Rita, you're very welcome. Rita, are you there? Oh, you're welcome, Rita.
Thank you so much, Solomon. Just maybe a corrective issue. We weren't hearing you on the online platform. I would like to thank everyone. I want to thank, on behalf of Uganda Investment Authority, I want to thank the Uganda Diaspora Network, BBS Telefina, the business leaders and the community, government, delegates, and all the stakeholders for organizing this Diaspora Homecoming Virtual Business Expo. Just to give you some information, Uganda Investment Authority has been part of the organizers and coordinators of the Uganda Diaspora Conventions, and this has gone way back from 2003. So as UIA, we are really glad to still be partners and part of this fruitful engagement. And I think it was during one of the summits in Kampala, one of the events, that a decision was taken that we make it an annual and traditional event. So that's how we came up with December, where we expect all our diaspora to be back home, to make it more fruitful and engagement, so that we actually have fruitful discussions when they are back home, to actualize what their plans and ideas could be and to promote to them. Briefly, to highlight UIA's role, our role and mandate is to promote and facilitate both domestic and foreign direct investments. Here, we do a lot of activities. Key of them is providing information on the different investment opportunities in the priority sectors. We facilitate investors through regulatory procedures. We license the different companies and investors. But key of them all is the policy advocacy role, where we work together with the different private sector to ensure that we create a conducive environment through the guidance of the private sector. So this is really key for UIA, because we get to understand what the business minds are, and as government, we see how to implement such recommendations and actualize the business environment. I'll re-echo what Dr. Maggie talked about, and I think Solomon earlier on, about the diaspora remittances. They have definitely declined because of the current COVID situation. However, we have a positive in all this. Uganda still ranks among the top 10. So this is still good, and I want to thank the Ugandans in the diaspora for the commitment in sending money back home. Ugandans have invested a lot, and we really hope to see a lot of investments. Key of these investments are in real estate, tourism, agro-processing is upcoming, and this is very important because we are focused as a country on agro-industrialization. So we really need to see value added to the products and the many we have in the agriculture sector. And then we are also getting a good in consultancy, education, and renewable energy. UIA's main objective for the convention really is to ensure the appropriation of the diaspora remittances to investments in Uganda. This can come through direct investments from the Ugandans and diaspora, but also we don't undermine the remittances that are sent to the households, because this in general improves the financial inclusion for the economy and the people you send money back home to. And this creates greater opportunity in the country as well, and the economy and the people. So it improves the livelihood, which is good for the country as well. Quickly to highlight the priority sectors and investment opportunities, I will be sharing in depth the materials that we have. Our website has all these promotional materials, but I will also share with the organizers who can share with you. Some might have already been received by a good number because we share with the Diaspora Network most of the promotional materials we have, but we've developed the SME, an SME compendium, which has about 50 ideas, business ideas. These range from all sectors: agriculture, tourism, accommodation, and the good thing, they are posted. So you get to understand if you want to venture into a particular activity or project, the estimates that you need to make in order to invest in such sectors. And then we also have the bankable project booklets. This we do annually. So I would also encourage the diaspora, if you have any business idea or if you have projects that you've profiled and maybe you've done some feasibilities or ideas or any projects that you want to market on your behalf, we have a bankable project booklet which enables us to market all those projects we have, and then also link and create partnership with maybe foreign investors or bigger, or through the banks and financial entities that we could sell or that could see them and partner with you to enlarge the ideas you have. The investment opportunities, I will start with the agriculture sector, because this is, Uganda is an agricultural country. Opportunities, right now we have a lot, and we are looking at focusing on value addition, as I've mentioned earlier, agro-industrialization. So we have a value addition that for all agricultural products that we have, but also we are looking at fertilizers and manufacturing of the inputs that we use in the agriculture sector. To go deeper, there are opportunities in the supply of agriculture machinery or establishment of cold storage facilities as well. And then also key of these is the packaging sector. It's one, since we are really going into the manufacturing aspect in the agriculture sector, packaging is key. You will notice that most of the materials that are used to package are imported. So this is an upcoming sector that can be taken advantage of. In the tourism sector, tourism, Uganda is naturally endowed. This is a comparative advantage we have as a country. It's beautiful by nature. UTB will talk about it. It speaks for itself, and opportunities are immense. We have lodge constructions. We have the tour and travel industry that is also available, just because COVID has hiccuped it a bit, but this will really pick up. And then construction of hotels. And then also we are looking at hospitality training institutions, because we really want to improve the capacity of our Ugandans, and we are aiming at creating jobs. So all that is available. We have the mineral beneficiation. We have a lot of mineral. We are mineral based. These are so many. Gold, of course, oil is now one of the key that have come up, the oil sector. And this, of course, most of them are huge, the infrastructure, but I think the key that we could tap into as the diaspora or the Ugandans is the services that are going to be tagged to the oil and gas sector. So I would inform the diaspora group or the Ugandans who would want to participate in the different services that could come out, the works and all those, the food supply. You have to register with the National Supplier Database. This is something we can share with you in detail of how you can register in collaboration with Petroleum Uganda Authority, so that you take part and we don't miss out when the actual oil has come into play and the services are needed for that big sector. Other minerals that we look at, we have the glass sand, we have the copper, the resalt, and then limestone. Construction is a big thing right now as a country. So a lot of cement is really used, and we have a lot of limestone that can be added value to, and we use the materials we have in the country. We have the energy sector. Of course, you will notice that we really need the power. I'll talk about the industrial parks as Uganda. As we speak industrialization, definitely we need to look at the power sources and the capacity. So this is one key sector that is going to come up, and we have good sunshine, there is solar that can be utilized. We have the distribution, because the production is really available. We have hydro, solar, but we also want to look at the distribution arm where at least power is evacuated. So that is a huge opportunity that can be invested in. Another sector is information communication technology. During this COVID time, we've come to appreciate the technology aspect. Everyone will agree. You will find a lot of digital services are going on, software and hardware industry. This is a booming time for it to pick up and really grow, because so much is being used for e-commerce, apps are being developed. We are looking at business process outsourcing, TV broadcasting, and all that. So this is also another sector that can be invested in. And then other sectors that we look at definitely are the health sector. The health sector is key. When it came to this COVID, we are looking at the manufacturing. This includes the pharmaceuticals. They have really picked up. We've got only Ugandans who are now even given the case of COVID. We are manufacturing our own medicines. So those opportunities have also come up. But all these in detail, we have summarized them. We share the materials, and on our website, you can actually get in depth, understand which opportunities, and even reach out to UIA to find out in which areas you can take advantage of, exploit in depth. When I look at the government of Uganda, we've really tried to create a conducive environment. So the incentive aspect, the government has provided various physical incentives through the respective tax laws. URA will expound on this, which makes it non-discriminatory and accessible to all investors. When we talk about investors, we've got an issue where there is a bias, and people tend to think when you talk investors, we are talking foreign, but investment means both foreign and domestic. So they are non-discriminatory. They are for all. They are the same across board. And to make it even better, we've tried to segment them in the thresholds where some incentives, let me give an example of the 10-year tax holiday. For local investors, the threshold is lower, where a 10-year tax holiday can be tapped into for, let me give an example, for the agriculture and agro-processing sector with US dollars 300,000. A domestic investor can actually tap into the 10-year tax holiday. And then also the 10-year tax holiday can be tapped into if, when we look at the manufacturing aspect, if a company or an entity wants to manufacture, but biased towards export promotion, the 10-year tax holiday, and that is 80% of the production if it's exported, this can be tapped into. So generally the incentives are also sector specific. This can be shared, and they favor key sectors like tourism, agriculture, education, manufacturing. This is geared towards encouraging investment in those sectors that generate employment for nationals, because that is the main goal for the country. Tourism sector has also very good incentives, like hotel equipment and fixtures are exempt from taxes at importation. VAT is exempt on accommodations in tourist hotels and lodges located up country. So the incentives are there. What I would encourage us, and it's good that this platform is open, I think the biggest gap we have is information. If the information flow gets to the needed parties, all this can be taken advantage of, and I'm glad that we have such openings where we can share the available incentives or the information that is key to the business environment. To conclude, the other aspect where we've really tried to improve the business environment, Uganda Investment Authority currently houses the one-stop center. And I would like to thank all the partner government agencies because they have facilitated and enabled this to be actualized, where we have both physical and virtual services to investor. This has helped a lot reduce the time, setup time and cost of doing business in Uganda. We have entities, there are about 12, where we have URA, we have the registration, business registration, a provision of work permits, immigration services. I've had there are a lot of issues there, but you can all come into UIA if you want to invest, and then you actually get your work permits done easily, or visas through a facilitation as well. And then we have banking services as well as a one-stop center, free zone services and utilities, because there are some very key entities like Umeme and National Water that need to be put in place for you to start a business. To conclude, UIA really appreciates the very strong and beneficial working relationship we've had over time with the Uganda diaspora, and we are very grateful. And as an institution, we commit to deepen this relationship and support such initiatives. And we really, really encourage you. We know we will get to understand from your side what the gaps are, but we encourage you to reach out to us, to engage with us, because it also helps us as government to understand what the business is and what your priorities are, and how we can realign ourselves to serve you better. So to conclude, I look forward to the fruitful deliberations that are going to be made during this convention, and I once again thank you.
Rita Nabaterega, thank you. Rita Nabaterega is the Senior Investments Executive at the Uganda Investments Authority. They're breaking it down in what it means for you to come back home and invest, the one-stop center. Rita, I'm really excited about it. The turnaround of doing business since that one-stop center was brought on board has actually, improved, and I've had so many people talking about it. So Rita, I'm just going to ask you to please drop that link, because you said it's out there. Please drop that link onto the chat section so that people can have access to it and look at the different investment sectors, including tourism, agriculture. Mention it, the issues that you were talking about. You said they're on the website, but you also said you could just drop us a link in the chat section so that we can just go out there and revisit it. One of the most secure investment that Rita did not talk about is buying treasury bills and treasury bonds from Bank of Uganda. There are several opportunities that are there for you in the diaspora to invest, and the return on that investment is guaranteed. Bank of Uganda guarantees you. I don't know what the interest rate right now is, but at one point Bank of Uganda gave back about 18% on treasury bills and bonds. But let me now invite Dennis Ramatha, Market Surveillance and Compliance, and of course also Andrew Kawere, who is the Director of National Payment Systems, to speak to us about the different products that Bank of Uganda has for us in the diaspora to invest. Being able to sleep back home in London or in Toronto or Boston or New York, and just know that your money has been put into treasury bills and you're guaranteed over 100% return on your investment. Let's have Andrew to come in, and Dennis, please, you're welcome. Dennis, these two are from Bank of Uganda.
Thank you, Solomon. I hope I can be heard. Hello, everyone. Just allow me to share my screen.
Of you. Dennis, can you unmute your audio, please? We can't hear you. Kindly, please. Can
you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Thank you. Yes, so I will be taking you through a presentation on how you can invest in government securities and earn a return. Sorry, I'm having challenges with my scrolling. Okay, but anyway, government securities are both a treasury bill and a treasury bond. And a treasury bond is a debt instrument with a maturity of more than 1 year, and it can be easily sold. A treasury bill is less than 1 year. Ugandans have been lending our government and earning interest using bonds since 2003. The lending terms range from 2 years to 20 years. We have a yield curve on the Bank of Uganda website, and this shows what you can earn from 3 months to 20 years. Japan and China were the first countries that issued diaspora bonds in the 1930s, while Israel and India followed in the 1950s. Bring it closer to home, Ethiopians abroad lent their government $4.8 billion to build the Grand Renaissance Dam. We've seen Israelis abroad also lend their country $25 billion over the last 30 years. Diaspora bonds have helped finance large-scale infrastructure developments in so many countries. However, Uganda is yet to issue one. Why haven't we issued a diaspora bond yet? The first is that there's limited data on nationals abroad. The second is bonds are difficult to understand. Therefore, they require higher need for increased financial literacy. Third is that there's some abroad with fear of investing locally. And lastly, there's need for increased marketing and publicity, especially in the international media. Why would one invest in a government security? Well, bonds are safe and can easily be sold and bought, and they provide a consistent return. Secondly, they can be used as collateral for loans. You can lend for 3 months up to 1 year in bills and up to 20 years for bonds. Then they can easily be sold and bought in the secondary market. Here you can just walk into any bank in Uganda and you can either buy or sell. The minimum investment is about $30, so that makes it accommodative for almost everyone. Investments can be done at least 3 times a month, twice for the bills and once for the bonds. We have a calendar on our website. Bonds have coupon payments that we pay every 6 months, and therefore you can reinvest this coupon. And lastly, the government securities currently provide a very good return, and you can return almost 15% in interest earning in the 20-year bond. As a way forward of how we would like to approach to have a diaspora bond, we have a 3-phased approach that is being considered. First is a local bond with a portion reserved for Ugandans in the diaspora. Second is a pure local bond entirely for the diaspora. And third is an international diaspora bond issued in the international financial markets. However, we would need to identify a project for the pure diaspora bond, and perhaps ideas from the diaspora would be welcomed. Secondly, the bank is trying to make it easier to open CSD accounts. CSD accounts are Central Securities Depository accounts for members abroad. The bank has sensitization materials on government securities that can be shared online, and we pledge to continue participating at diaspora gatherings such as these to increase sensitization. Locally, the government is engaging the private sector, like the banks and the housing sector, to consider issuing corporate bonds and the capital markets for the real estate that can cater for both the diaspora and the public. Regionally, at ESC level, we're targeting an ESC diaspora to invest in the region and to market the entire region to the ESC diaspora. And the East African Community Central Banks have developed strategies of dealing with various challenges that are related to reaching the diaspora and engaging them. I'll give you a couple of descriptive examples of how bonds can be useful. A school-going child can use this as a savings opportunity. They offer higher earning than savings account. A businessman or woman can use this as loan collateral. A retired worker can invest their retirement package while preserving their principal invested amount. Earnings could be used to pay school fees for family members. And then lastly, a Ugandan in the diaspora would be proud to return home and see improved infrastructure such as roads, hospitals, real estate, and schools, as was the case with the Israelis after the Holocaust. So in conclusion, we're seeing that there's need for varied domestic resource mobilization efforts and they're gaining renewed focus, and therefore there's a need to develop new instruments to enhance projects, and thus the diaspora bonds are one way in which this can be achieved. These bonds have a potential to be used to support infrastructure projects and have the potential to offer great impact on the economies of our countries in East Africa. Thank you all, and I thank you all for having the bank present. You all in the diaspora. Apologies, this presentation has frozen. My internet was a bit slow, and apologies, but the presentation will be shared to the Ugandan community in the diaspora through the official channels. I thank you.
Dennis, if you just stay with us there, because at what level has the Bank of Uganda reached in concluding with the diaspora bonds? Is it still at infancy stage, or are you actually about to finalize on this product? Dennis?
The bank and the Ministry of Finance and the Uganda Investment Authority have been working closely on this project. However, of course, the challenges of COVID have killed 2 years of the progress that we're making, but we continue to engage many different partners on how we can move forward, because we want to make it easier for the Ugandans in the diaspora to be able to invest in the government securities. Challenges like, say, they would have to currently open an account here in Uganda can be a bit challenging for many of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So we are working with the ministry, and we're working with the Ministry of Finance, actually, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Uganda Investment Authority to make all these challenges non-existent.
Dennis, I just stay with me for a while, because I'm so much interested in treasury bills and bonds, and hopefully I can be one of your next clients because I've really been following this. So are you going to make this digital in terms of I can't be in Toronto on my laptop in my bed and I can just do a direct transaction and I buy a treasury bill online?
Want to get to, and we're optimistic that there are a couple of interventions that the bank is engaging in that we believe in the near future can be able to achieve that, yes.
Between a normal treasury bond or bill here in Uganda with the diaspora bond, or as you're still developing the diaspora bond product, Ugandans in the diaspora can still purchase or take advantage of the bonds as Ugandans whilst they're wherever they are. Just help us understand the difference there.
The Ugandans in the diaspora can actually lend government in government securities. However, from many interactions we've had with them, it's a bit challenging for many of them because the requirements currently require them to physically come to Uganda, open up a bank account, open up a CSD account, and that is what we want to change. But currently, they can participate normally in buying government securities. We've made it easier. The bank has made it easier. The process of opening a CSD account has been made much easier. Previously, investors had to come to the Bank of Uganda to open up these accounts. That is not the case anymore. Now you can walk into any commercial bank and you open up a CSD account. However, we have seen sister countries using the diaspora, their citizens in the diaspora, to help fund infrastructure projects, say a hospital in up country or a school. They market it to their citizens in the diaspora, and they fund this project. And that is where now it becomes a difference from whereby a person in the diaspora is participating in a government security right now. In this case, it would be targeting all those in the diaspora to participate and help develop the country.
All right, Andrew, I'm sure you have so many questions from people who are listening to you right now. Many of them thinking, okay, I think still physical in the 21st century that I have to actually fly into Uganda and open up a CM account and and things actually going digital. And you know, if you're asking us to invest our money back home in treasury bills and bonds and government securities, then why don't we go E? But let's see how all that works out. And Dennis there, thank you very much. Dennis is from the Bank of Uganda, and he's the Market Surveillance and Compliance Manager there, BOU. Dennis Ramafa, thank you very much. Andrew Kawere, Director National Payment Systems, where are you at? Come in and talk to us about, you know, dormant account closures that BOU is looking at, and then of course the fate of unclaimed balances on bank accounts and mobile money accounts for people who have abandoned their bank accounts for quite a while without transacting. Let's bring in Andrew Kawere, Director, National Payment Systems, Bank of Uganda.
Very much, Solomon. Thank you very much, Solomon. And I'm glad to be here to share our thoughts and perspectives with the diaspora community. The presentation will tackle around 3 areas, including a little bit of the current regulatory landscape. Then we'll briefly move to the management of dormant accounts, and then the possible opportunities. Now, in terms of the landscape, what's happening currently is that we do have a new regulatory framework, and under this law, the Bank of Uganda has been given the mandate to manage payment systems. And when we talk about payment systems, we refer to the mechanisms that move money between the different economic agents. And these payment systems are of largely 2 categories. We've got the retail systems, which are the popular ones, the likes of mobile money and general e-money. But then we also have the wholesale systems, which move large funds, really. For example, the real-time gross settlement system, which moves money within a maximum of 30 minutes. In the past 1 year, a lot has happened in terms of the payment systems. Bank of Uganda, for a start, was granted the legal mandate to manage and oversee payment systems, and the law was enacted in September last year, and that was followed by regulations which were gazetted in March this year. And as we speak, 11 institutions have been licensed to play in this licensed space and as e-money providers. We've also developed a national payment system strategy in conjunction with the private sector, and this is anchored on the National Development Plan, but it aims to support innovation, it aims to promote competition, consumer protection, and stakeholder collaboration.
All right. Of course, Andrew, we're still hearing you. The challenge we have, Andrew, is that your screen is, you know, upside down. Can you just kindly maybe flip it a bit? In terms of your picture, you're upside down. So hopefully you can maybe just turn it once and then it comes back. But otherwise, we are following. Andrew, go ahead.
Oh, I'm not quite sure what the challenge is. I guess I'll just turn it off. I will turn off the video to avoid the confusion. But in terms of the dormant accounts, the salient issues are indeed laid out in the National Payment Systems Regulatory Framework. One is the question of when does an account get dormant? And for this, I will split it into 2 areas. One is the conventional bank account, and secondly is the case for mobile money. A bank account gets dormant if it is inactive for 2 years, that is 24 consecutive months of inactivity. While for the mobile money account, inactivity happens after 9 consecutive months of no activity. By no activity, we mean there has been no transaction, no money coming in, no money sent, no account inquiry, and essentially no transaction at all. But then what happens after that period has lapsed? For the bank account, after 2 years have lapsed, the account will be transferred to a special register of dormant accounts, and the account holder will be notified accordingly. Similarly, for the mobile money accounts, after 9 consecutive months of inactivity, the account will be suspended and the holder will be notified that the account needs to be reactivated. If the holder doesn't show up, the bank account is going to remain on the register for 3 more years, while for the mobile money account, this account is going to be suspended for an additional 6 months. What happens next? If the owner of the bank account doesn't show up after another 5 years, now that is in total a 10-year period for a bank account holder. So if the holder doesn't show up for another 5 years, then the money is going to be moved to the central bank. While for the mobile money side, if the account is not reactivated in the 6 months I highlighted a while ago, the account is also going to be closed and the funds transferred to the central bank. Does this mean that that's the end of the road for the account holder? The answer is no. Bank of Uganda will refund that money for a bank account holder if the beneficiary or their legal representative makes a claim anytime after the money has been sent to the central bank. Now, on the side of the mobile money account, the central bank will still refund the money to the account holder or to their legal representative, but this must be done within a period of 7 years. The law requires that if the 7 years lapse for a mobile money account holder, this money will be transferred to the consolidated fund, and the central bank ceases to have any mandate for refunding that money. So in total, a bank account that has gone dormant has up to 10 years to be reactivated before the money is sent to the central bank. But even after sending the money to the central bank, you can claim that money, or your legal representative can claim the money anytime. While for a mobile money account, you have up to 9 months initially, and then an additional 6 months, which makes it a year and some 3 months to have the account reactivated. But if you don't do so, you still have another 7 years to claim the funds from the central bank. Then, as I move towards closure, I would like us to reflect on the areas that would think we can collaborate together with the diaspora community and the central bank. And these are issues that we think the diaspora community can really support the central bank, but also benefit from in as far as joint initiatives are concerned. One of them is the case for stakeholder joint initiatives around financial literacy. The diaspora community is one of the main sources of remittances to Uganda, and we call upon you as a community to invite us to talk to your people about financial literacy. We'd like to talk to your people about savings and investments and general financial literacy as a discipline. We'll invite you to bring technology back home. Come and invest in electronic payments. There are a number of players that have brought technology from the US, from the UK, from Canada, and this new mandate for the central bank has given us an opportunity to test those innovations under regulatory oversight, but before you apply for a direct license. So there is an opportunity for you to test the innovations. There is an opportunity for you to test the technology in conjunction or working together with the central bank. But we also invite you to lobby government. Some of the challenges we face in promoting electronic payments pertain to the limited internet coverage in the rural areas, pertain to the limited broadband coverage across the rural areas of Uganda. So we invite you to lobby government to expand this network coverage so that we can jointly support the deeper penetration of electronic payments. But financial literacy is also a key area. We invite you to join us and to invite us to your forums so that we can educate your members and colleagues about financial literacy, savings, and promotion of investments in general. In closure, ladies and gentlemen, our vision as a central bank is to promote financial literacy, is to promote electronic payments, and the aim, or if I may put it differently, our aspiration is to empower Ugandans with a broad range of innovative e-payment options, which are safe, efficient, accessible, inclusive, and systems that can promote socio-economic transformation. So I'll keep it at that. Solomon, just in case there are a couple of questions, we'll be happy to share them. But you can still reach out to us via our contacts that are available in the central bank, and we shall be happy to provide clarification on these and other matters. Thank you, and back to you, Solomon.
Okay, thank you very much. Andrew is the Director, National Payment System. Thank you very much for speaking to us. If there are any questions, we will drop them into the Q&A section, the question chat section, so that you can just respond to some of those. But thank you very much to Andrew and Dennis for speaking through about new rules with Bank of Uganda, but also the investment opportunities for the treasury bills and bonds. I'm going to be buying some of those, and I encourage you people in the diaspora to go ahead and buy some treasury bills and bonds as government works around the corner to have the diaspora bonds. We cannot wait for those to be finalized. Thank you very much. If you've just joined us, welcome once again to the Uganda Diaspora Business Expo, the virtual edition, which I always host. And a special thank you to all our partners who have made this happen. A special thank you to Bank of Uganda. A special thank you to the National Housing and Construction Company. A special thank you to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Housing Finance Bank, the Uganda Investments Authority, the Uganda Tourism Board, the Uganda Revenue Authority, Remax Uganda, and all others. I'll be speaking more of our partners as we continue with this broadcast. Again, the reason why you are on this broadcast is because you find value. And we thought that we could bring you officials from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, specifically from the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigrations Control, to speak to us about, for those of you who have been applying for dual citizenship, how far has this process gone? What have been the challenges? What are the new rules to obtaining, a visa, etc. So I want to invite Mr. Murari Moses, who is the Assistant Commissioner for the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigrations Control, to speak to us about the new visa rules for foreign passport holders. If you have a UK passport, you're Ugandan. Like I always say, it's very hurting for a Ugandan to return home and having to pay $50 for a visa because you're holding a UK passport or a US passport, and you have to queue, and yet you're returning home. So there are new visa rules for foreign passport holders. The delays on the visa application, if you've applied for a visa online, why have there been delays? The dual citizenship applications, the East African passport renewals for those who have the East African passports, how are you going to renew them, and how best can the immigrations attaches at the different embassies across the world help you in processing your documents. Let's bring in the Assistant Commissioner for the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigrations Control, Mr. Moses Murari. Moses, we henceforth, because this is a broadcast, will not allow any of you to please share your PowerPoints, because it really drags on and we cannot see you. So we prefer that you speak off. And Moses, you have strictly 10 minutes. Moses, you are welcome.
Greetings from Uganda. For those living in the diaspora, I'm called Murari Moses. I'm an Assistant Commissioner at Immigration. I thank the organizers of this function for having thought of this important webinar so that we can communicate with our people in the diaspora. I am going to talk about the visa rules, and advice on what can be done. We have of recent changed from payment of visas for those of you who hold foreign passports. We have changed from paying on arrival to first applying for visas online, and this was prompted by the problems that visas on arrival were bringing, because our officers at the points of entry used to concentrate on being cashiers than doing immigration work. So management and government decided that in order for us to separate our business from money collection, let the visas be applied online, paid online, and by the time the person arrives at any point of entry, the visa has been approved, the visa has been paid, there is no line, there is a seamless flow into your own country. It is very easy to apply for this visa online using our website. On our website, there is a link, www.visas.immigration.go.ug, and with this, you enter into and begin filling, pay for the visa on arrival, online, and it is approved even when you are in bed. Get approval notice, print it out, go to the airline, board, and reach any border of your choice. However, there are some Ugandans in the diaspora who do not require to apply for visas online because they still hold Ugandan passports. Therefore, this category of people, they do not need to apply for visas. They are Ugandans. They just go to the airline board and we see them at the airport. There are also those Ugandans who got citizenship from countries which are not eligible to pay for visas or to apply for visas to come to Uganda. And it includes all those East African countries: Angola, Antigua, Bahamas, Malawi, Malaysia, Malta, Mauritius, Swaziland, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Sudan, Eritrea, Cyprus, Cuba, Comoros, Lesotho, Jamaica, Ireland, Grenada, Ghana, Gambia, Fiji, to mention but a few. They are Ugandan citizens and residents who do not need a visa to enter Uganda. For instance, residents, I mean those who are not Ugandans, but they have facilities to live in Uganda freely. They don't need to apply for visas. And it is so easy to apply for a visa, get the visa, go to the missions that we have, 15 missions abroad, where you can personalize your visa. It is put in your passport with your picture, and you see it is personalized in London, Washington, Ottawa, New Delhi, Beijing, Guangzhou, Pretoria, Brussels, Abuja, Mogadishu, Copenhagen, Riyadh, Ankara, Paris, and Berlin. Once you have got your visa, you can move to any of these missions. It is personalized, and you simply have to board. For why then do they delay?
I think we must have lost. Moses, are you still there? I think we must have lost Moses, and he was really taking a deep dive into the new visa requirements. Just to recap about the issues, you were saying that you don't have to get visa on arrival anymore. You have to apply for it, but he says he's promised that the turnaround time is going to be quick. If you are in different places, you can also go to the embassy and apply there. But also, for those that still hold Ugandan passports, you can still come back home with the Ugandan passport. He was still talking to us a little bit more, but I think we must have lost him. He was talking about the new visa rules for those that have foreign passports, and he also was about to speak about the dual citizenship applications. Moses, kindly help and sort that back. I think you can come back as fast as we can so that you come and answer those questions, especially around dual citizenship applications, how far they have gone, and also the East African passport renewal, and also the visa application online, quite new. Previously, people would just fly into the country, present their passports and pay $50, and then they can be able to get their passports. Now you have to apply online and get your approval, and then you can fly. I don't know how that will look like, but yeah, Moses, are you back?
Have really affected me this side, but I wanted to conclude that why do we delay? We delay because somebody uses a card that a certain bank in
Moses, can you just open your camera up because we don't see you anymore? And just open your camera up so that we can see you. Moses? Okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good.
Solomon, I was saying that somebody swiping his Visa card from Paris, for example, the transaction of that bank where he has swapped from, dealing with another bank, local bank in Uganda, for it to transmit the money into the coffers of URA, Uganda Revenue Authority, which is the official collector of this money, may take a little bit longer. I would advise that whoever falls into that category needs to apply for a visa for a time. He gives himself a time, maybe 7 days, so that if these transactions have to take place in the background, we would process the visa without the hiccup. Solomon, I was told to talk about the machine readable passports and East African passports that we rolled out recently. And you very well know that the ICAO has outlawed the use of machine readable passports, and we are all urged as a member country to embrace the issuance of e-passports. Therefore, by the end of April, all those who do not have e-passports may not be allowed to travel internationally. I urge you, fellow countrymen, that those who still own machine-readable passports must take steps that before the end of April, we would have again acquired the new East African passports. How has immigration done it so that it enables those in the diaspora to repress their passports? The passports application is now online. You simply, in your bedroom, sitting room, you can apply for an East African passport online, pay online, and we send it to where you are. Apply, pay, we send, for those who are in the diaspora, we shall send it wherever you are. And this has been done. As long as the correct address, we send it wherever you are. I have been also asked to talk about dual citizenship. We all know the importance of dual citizenship. For those who already have citizenships of other countries, you know that in Uganda, if you don't have citizenship, you may not acquire certain, enter into certain agreements, buy land, for example, my land. Therefore, it is important that even that passport, and get our passport.
Moses, we've lost you, and you had started touching on that core issue. It looked like you're in office, so I thought that you could have actually good network and good internet from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. But Moses, Moses, thank you for speaking to those issues. I had a question though. Hopefully you will come back later on and speak to it. You talked about the e-passports and machine-readable passports. Like, what does the e-passport even look like? It's the first time I'm hearing it. Think about that. And maybe you have to do a lot to sensitize the public about this. What's the difference between an e-passport and a machine-readable passport? And what does it mean for people who are in the diaspora? You know, I think we need to tell people more about that. Moses, we missed you, but thank you. Hopefully we can have you later on. Moses Murari, Assistant Commissioner, Directorate of Immigration Control and Citizenship. They are speaking to us on the new visa rules for those who have foreign passports, and of course explaining the delays in the visa application, which of course spoke to the issue of using visa cards that have to connect with a local bank and then with URA, so that takes a little bit of time, but he did not give us solutions, so I thought that he could speak to us about the solutions there. But he was also touching on the issue of dual citizenship there before we lost him. But it is sad. Moses, I hope you can get better internet next time. But that's Moses Murira there from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Assistant Commissioner, Directorate of Citizenship and Immigrations Control. Thank you very, very much. All right. If you've just joined us, thank you so much for always being available for the Uganda Diaspora Homecoming Gala and Business Expo there. And I'm really, really excited to be hosting this annually. Speaking to Ronnie that we should call it the Solomon Seranja Annual Diaspora Gala and Expo. But thank you from wherever you are joining us from. We have people listening in from the UK, from the US, from Turkey, from Russia. Interesting. People from all over the world and here on the African continent. Thank you. We're trying to bring this information to you so that you can pick one or two and then you can make a few decisions moving forward. Speaking of decisions, let's continue with our investments decisions. And one of the selling things right now are capital markets and stocks. It's a big selling cake here in Uganda, the latest being MTN. Going public there, selling their shares, and of course other companies also. The stocks and capital markets are a hot cake here in Uganda. But let me bring in Keith Karijira, who is the CEO of the Capital Markets Authority, to speak to us about investing in capital markets and stocks. Keith, you are welcome.
Very much, Solomon, and good evening from Kampala, and I'm sure it's morning that side, and other parts of the world, different time zones. Thank you, Ronnie, for having me here. I have just got 10 minutes. I'll try and delve deep into the subject. Essentially, it's just to give an outline about what the capital markets and how you in the diaspora can participate in the capital markets. Other speakers from Bank of Uganda speak about bonds. There's a practical constraints that process that I'll speak about. I hear a little bit of feedback, but I'll just proceed. So capital markets are markets where those with savings can provide long-term capital to government and companies or businesses that need the capital. And basically, the capital markets are where savers buy financial products known as securities issued by these companies or governments. Now, the securities issued by governments are the treasury bills and bonds. The securities issued by companies are typically equity and or debt. Debt is issued normally in the form of corporate bonds. Then savers can also participate in the capital markets by buying securities such as collective investment schemes, which are essentially schemes that have combined your funds in order to be allocated to either shares or bonds, both in the private sector or the public sector, which are government bonds. Now, CMA essentially is the referee. We license the participants in this market. We make sure there's law and order in the market and that your investments are safe, your complaints are handled in time, and we license the right people to do the job for you. So that is a pictorial view of what the capital markets are all about. On the one hand, you've got the deficit spending units, that is the government, and the private sector or the real economy that needs your savings, and the typical sources of savings are the surplus spending units. These are individuals or institutional savers. The real holders of long-term savings are pension funds, insurance companies, or households like you and me, who put aside part of our surplus, savings into financial instruments. I know typically people like to invest in governments, in land, in property. Those are good investments, but it's always good to diversify and have some liquidity close by in assets that are giving you interest on a daily basis, literally. In between are the capital markets, so that is the primary and secondary markets, where you have the stock exchanges, investment advisors, fund managers, collective investment scheme or CIS managers, stock brokers, and so forth, trustees, registrars, and the entire ecosystem that provides that intermediation service between you who has the money and those who need the money. So in total, we have licensed about 38 fund managers. 38 approved persons in total. The two stock exchanges, the Uganda Securities Exchange and Altex. We've got 2 depositories also held by each of the exchanges, 8 brokers between the 2 exchanges, though most of the brokers are the Uganda Securities Exchange. We've got 2 dealers, that's UAP and Crested Capital. We've got fund managers as well, investment advisors, unit trust managers who are 5, and then the trustees who hold the assets of unit trust managers on your behalf. This presentation is going to be spending quite a bit of time on the collective investment schemes as a vehicle through which those in the diaspora can invest. So we have seen rapid growth of CIS assets since over the past 5 years. These assets have grown on an annualized basis by about 75%, from 31 billion at the end of 2016 to 499 billion at the end of last year, but it's heading towards 940 billion at the end of 2021. So it's almost like every year the assets under management are doubling. The number of investors who are participating has also grown significantly from 6,100 in 2019. And the most recent number I've seen as at the end of September this year was about 23,590. So many individuals are also taking advantage of collective investment schemes, and I'll explain why. That is just a pictorial graph. CIS schemes are basically 4 types. There are equity funds, which invest in listed equities, both here and in Kenya. You've got money market funds that normally invest in near cash, short-term instruments, or instruments that are less than 36 month maturity or 3-year maturity. You've got balance funds that invest in both short-term and long-term instruments, both debt and equity. But then you've got umbrella funds that really are a mixture of short-term and long-term instruments. So far, that is the spread. UAP is the largest CIS manager with 63% of the assets, followed by Britam, which was fairly new. Then ICA is the insurance company in West Africa, Zeno, a young but upcoming fund manager, and then Sanlam, which is also the most recent that we licensed. So there are 5 managers who collectively are managing 880 billion as at the end of September. But as I said, this figure is likely to grow to 940 billion at the end of the financial year or the calendar year. So this is the spread. There are only 2 equity funds. I'm starting from the bottom that are managed by Zeno. Now, these equity funds are typically, as I said, they invest in securities. It's wise to invest through an equity fund because sometimes you don't know exactly which securities to buy, even if you're literate financially. So it's always good to trust the rigor of a fund manager before you can commit your funds. Then you've got the 2 bond funds or income funds managed by ICA and Zeno. And then also Britam, sorry, that should be 3. You've got 1 savings fund by ICA, you've got 3 umbrella funds by UAP, Sanlam, and Britam, 2 balance funds, and then 4 money market funds. All the licensed CIS managers manage money market funds apart from Sanlam. Now, the flexibility that these funds gives you is that you're able to draw your money out at short notice. You don't have to try and negotiate with the treasury manager of a bank because there's certain practical realities about buying treasury bills and bonds. If you're going to be buying, a treasury bill or bond worth, 2 million shillings, 3 million shillings, 5, 10 million shillings, the reality is that you may not get a lot of attention from a treasury manager unless you're going to be investing fairly large sums of money. So collective investment schemes are able to give you the opportunity of investing relatively small sums, which you can even set aside on a monthly basis for a long term. You can get into a plan where you say you'll be putting aside 500,000, 1 million shillings every month for the next 5 years or even 10 years. Why not? And usually the question is whether the shillings are stable store of value. And I think we have seen that over the past 5 years, the Uganda shilling has maintained its value. It has been a stable source of value. And if you take that backwards to, say, 20 years, the average depreciation has been about 4 to 5% per year, which is not too bad. We've seen so many other countries, currencies lose value, Zambia, Turkey, and many others. So I believe that the central bank has done a good job, together with the Ministry of Finance, in making sure that the shilling has remained a stable store of value. So you can invest in Uganda shilling assets, financial assets, and also real estate assets, knowing that your value will be protected. It's also it's about diversification. That's my second last slide, just to show again the spread of the different assets that CISs are managed into. And really, in conclusion, it's just to advise you that always invest through licensed persons, unless you're willing to lose what you're going to be investing. Whatever seems to be too good to be true, take a bit of caution. There's so much going around, especially during these times of COVID, where all sorts of schemes are being presented. Many of them are online, but just be a bit cautious because you could lose all your savings. Don't focus so much on return on your investment. Think about return of your investment, all right? Somebody might promise you a 40, 50% return per annum, but you're not even sure whether you're going to get back any of it. Then second principle is diversify your investments. Yeah, it's good to have real estate assets, rental properties, land, but it's also good to have financial assets to be able to take advantage of short-term opportunities that come up in the real estate and other space. Then also monitor your investments periodically. Once you invest, don't just invest and go to sleep. Check on your fund manager or your investment advisor or broker periodically, every 3 to 6 months. Just call in and see what's going on with your portfolio. And that really is the summary of what I had to share with you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Keith Karijira there, CEO Capital Markets Authority. They are speaking to us about investing in capital markets and stocks, which is also quite secure. Keith, I just have, I was speaking to a friend, especially when, MTN opened it up, and we're also largely speaking about investing in capital markets. And one of them raised a fear that what if the businesses don't do well? It means we both share the losses and the profits. And no one wants to, put money on a fragile, ground, and, investing in stocks that really depends on how the business has performed. How do you allay the fears of a person like Moses Mulumba, who actually whispered that in my ears, with no offense mentioning his name, but yeah, he raised that. why should I invest in a business in stocks that keep varying? Again, I know that you've talked about why it is important for the diaspora people to invest in stocks, but maybe you try to allay Moses' fears. Keith.
Solomon. That is the reason why we've got analysts, people who are skilled and qualified, who spend their time researching on the merits and demerits of investing in listed companies, both here, Kenya, Tanzania. Even if a company's, it all goes down to valuation. You've got to talk to people who are skilled in undertaking valuation of companies. There are so many things going around, for example, about the recent IPO, the valuation of the MTN IPO. And I think that's really the key. Don't look at the absolute number and say because X listed company is trading at 15 shillings, it's cheap. No, it's always a function of how many other securities in total or shares have been issued. So rely on the services of licensed investment advisors, preferably those who have got CFAs or other professionals that are part of the staff, or CISI, Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments, before you can make a call. It's not always a good idea to invest in every security all the time. It also depends on the performance of the company. So you also need to rely on those people who monitor the performance of these companies, because they're doing this research on behalf of a broad section of their clients, which they can share with you and help you to make a determination about whether to hold, whether to buy more securities. Sometimes when security prices decline, it's actually a buying opportunity. If the fundamentals of the company have not changed, the industry has not changed, the economy hasn't changed, and for some reason, because of some large sell, prices have declined, those could actually be buying opportunities. But again, as I say, rely on the services of professionals who are licensed by us, or who've got the academic and professional credentials to give you the necessary advice.
Thank you for that. I think it's very important what you just said last, that you need to rely on professional advice and people who have taken time to analyze and know how the game is played. Keith Karijira, CEO of Capital Markets Authority, thank you very much for sharing those thoughts with us, and I'm sure that the people in the diaspora are beginning to take interest in investing in capital markets and stocks. Thank you. Now, for those that are interested in real estate, buying and selling land, for example, guess what? URA has some news for you in terms of new tax rules for land buyers and land sellers. The ball game has changed if you've been into that market, and it is important that you listen carefully from URA. Speaking of URA, let me now invite Michael Masembe, who is the acting manager, Public and Corporate Affairs, there to speak to us. Michael, you're very welcome. Talk to us about the real estate tax and the new rules for those who are buying and selling land. Michael, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone there. Hello, Michael Masembe from Uganda Revenue Authority, and I'm glad to join you again this year. It's sad again that we cannot have our Serena meet, but nonetheless, we are here to share with you on the various tax aspects that are important to you as Ugandans in the diaspora. Yes, indeed, we introduced a new administrative mechanism as Uganda Revenue Authority this year to persons who intend to transact in land. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, it is right now from the start of 6th December, when you are declaring the transfer of land, that is if you've engaged in the sale or purchase of land, it is important that you have a tax identification number. Now, it is not a new tax, and I was really happy when Solomon addressed it properly. It's just a new administrative mechanism, like a tax rule, that we are using as Uganda Revenue Authority to tap into the potential tax base, potential taxpayers who have not really met their obligations to come to the tax register. It is not to defeat anyone. We would like a very, very streamlined real estate sector, and this is not to impede any transactions. And those of you who are from the diaspora, we want to really reiterate our commitment to assist. Our portal is available. If you need to apply for tax identification number, if you don't have the national ID, it's understandable, but you can use either your passport, you can use your driver's permit, you can use your residence permit. We can take 2 documents that you can upload online on the URA website, and you make your application, and we'll be very glad to assist you in that application. There is no new tax whatsoever. It's just that you will need to show us who the buyer is and who the seller is. And that kind of identification on the side of URA is seen through your tax identification number. The regime on property in the real estate sector, especially if it is someone renting, leasing, letting out a property, stays as it has been. Where there is income and from a property, there is a cost allowance, a cost allowance of 75%, an expenditure allowance of 75% if you're a company, and the balance to that is taxed at 30%. Where you are an individual, still you have that allowance of 30%, of 75%, and what stays above is taxed at 30%. That is even including if you had mortgage interest paid within the year. That will all be seated inside there. So I'm here to allay any fears that we are not introducing any new tax. We are just trying to streamline the sector, especially in using the transactions in the real estate sector to help us identify potential taxpayers who have not been assisted to get on the tax register. This, we hope, will help in lessening the tax burden on the few 1.8 million Ugandans who are paying taxes for over the 8 million potential taxpayers that we would expect to have on the register as at now. So the scenario, as it has been addressed in the media and across all the platforms where you have met it, is just to streamline as an administrative mechanism from Uganda Revenue Authority. And as URA, I encourage you to visit www.ura.go.ug, our website, where you will be able to access all information on regarding the real estate taxation regime. We have an incentive regime that we have also published, but this is also available on the UIA website. We have an incentive brochure for all the other sectors where you may be interested in investing, and that in itself is something that I think will give you a lot of information that you can rely on if you intend to make any investments into Uganda. Yes, someone from the chat has asked that I talk about withholding tax. Yes, where there is withholding tax for persons who are involved in the sale. If someone's business is in the sale of land, then we would expect that payments that go above 10 million. Even my earlier address was in regard to transactions that hit above 10 million Ugandan shillings. Then the 6% withholding for persons who are in that particular business would be expected to be remitted to Uganda Revenue Authority. This withholding tax for you who is in this business will be offset. It's a credit for you at the end of the year. It's a credit that will be used to reduce the tax that you have to pay at the end of the year, and it should not raise any worries of any new tax being introduced. So I don't know whether within the span of time that has been availed to me, I've been able to address some of the issues that would have been of interest to persons in the diaspora. But one key thing for those of you who are investing into commercial property, as long as you know you're going to have a turnover of above 150 million in a year, 150 million from the remittance, from the payments coming from your tenants, then you know commercial property. I know maybe it's a mall, and then you have people running shops or office building. There is value added tax besides the income tax. You have value added tax to which you need to subscribe and make monthly returns and payments, if any, to Uganda Revenue Authority. It is this that we expect that you fulfill, and currently in this you need to enroll also for that onto the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, because anyone on value added tax in Uganda right now, you're supposed to be enrolled on the electronic fiscal receipting. So the monthly receipts or invoices that you give to your tenants have to come out of the electronic system that has been implemented by URA. And on this, we are also very glad to help and assist. We have a WhatsApp number, 0772 14 quadra 0, 0772 14 quadra 0, where you can go for all kinds of assistance from Uganda Revenue Authority, real time. Our staff are ready to give you assistance from wherever you are in the diaspora. We are very, very glad and ready to assist you, because we depend on what you contribute to the through those remittances. So Solomon, I would like to hand over to you, because that's within the span of time that was allocated to me.
Thank you very much. Michael Masembe there is Acting Manager, Public and Corporate Affairs for the Uganda Revenue Authority, speaking about the real estate tax. Some new rules they are clearing the air, that it's not a new tax, but certainly you'll have to pay about 30% off over the 75%. It's interesting. URA is looking at raising the revenue there to hit the target to build this country. Michael, if there are any questions, they can drop them for you in the chat section. And you also clearly spoke out about the 6% withholding fee there, and he ably explained that in detail. All right, thank you very much. Time is running up, about 5 minutes to 6 o'clock Ugandan time. And we have a couple of people, and then we'll have you to ask your questions. For those who have made the presentations, please don't leave, because there will be a couple of questions that are coming through from the different people who are on the different spaces. So please do not leave the call, because question time will be coming shortly. Let me invite the CEO of the National Housing and Construction Company, Mr. Kenneth Kajuka, to give us about the great opportunities that National Housing has for people in the diaspora. Last time I checked, they're working on a new estate. I don't know how far that has gone, but also refurbishing the different estates that have been happening. So Kenneth, it's really good to have you back again. And well, it's time for you to speak to us about what National Housing has for both people who are in Uganda, but also for those who are in the diaspora. Kenneth, you're very welcome.
Thank you, viewers, dear diaspora community. As mentioned, Kenneth is my name, and I am the Chief Executive Officer at National Housing and Construction Company Limited. It's always a pleasure sharing with you, because then we bring business opportunities to you in real estate, but also we bring you finished products for those of you who have been our regular customers. Dear viewers and listeners, National Housing, we have a mandate to make sure we make housing available to every Ugandan as a business, as a government business arm. And so we want to, each year we look forward to making sure that is made available. Over the last years, we've not made it possible for the entire country, but come year 2022, we look forward to extending our products and business dimensions to the countryside through the housing value chain. I want to, and I know you're fully aware that over the 57 years of National Housing's existence, we've offered quality housing estates throughout the country, And normally we are proud to mention each and every part of this country where you visit, and you find the semblance of organized settlement, the bomber grounds, the estates, the housing, residential, commercial establishments. You'll find the footprint of national housing. And if you look at Kampala, for all areas, Nakasero, Kororo, Bugorobi, Ntinda, Minister's Village, go to Chambogolo Estate, go to Lubowa, we opened it up. You go to Nigeria, you go to Kiwatule. We're talking of that kind of leadership that we've offered to date, and then we let others follow. We open boundaries, and then others appreciate. So we are happy to do that once more, and to make sure that every Ugandan can access our products, can access our business as appropriately as possible. Even now with the interconnectivity through the webinars like this, we hope we can be able to engage with a bigger market. Through our mandate, our viewership and listenership, we offer business not only in the residential domain, but in the commercial, in the industrial, in the institutional as well. So in each of the brackets, whether you're looking to be an industrial developer, you can engage with the national housing, and we can be able to run with you through establishment of your warehousing, through establishment of your factory premises before you install your machinery. In the commercial space, we can develop with you or develop for you premises, whether they are office or shops or anything that you can mention. In the residential, we have done a lot of work. We certainly, yes, we can provide the low, medium, up to the high-end residential facilities. But we also are open to the institutional bracket, schools, hospitals, barracks, and we are engaging with various developers and development partners to make sure that we make this available to you in Uganda and outside Uganda. I'm quite sure of the time limitations I have. I want to interest you. There's a finished product which presents itself on the screen. This is Impara Estate, Namungona. A very, very close location to the city center. 195 can keep 3-bedroom units complete. You can pay today, and tomorrow you have your keys and you can occupy the unit. We moved countryside. This is Mbarara city, where we have put 156 units. We look to do more than 200. And phase 1 of 80 units are complete. Some of you have already occupied. Those of you who have not acquired a unit, we'd invite you to come to this kind of elegant living right on the Boma grounds, facing Kacheka Stadium, next to the University Inn. I would invite you to pick a unit, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units. We also have units in Naria, Jasmine Apartments, 1, 3, and 4-bedroom units. These are nearing completion. That's the stage where we are, and we hope in the next 6 months, this should be ready. I also want to invite you. Some of you have already acquired and booked and are paying, but I want to say there are a few units remaining. You can book yourself a unit right in there. I talked about our provision of commercial space, office space at Towers Building, property of National Housing and Construction Company Limited. Want you to come and take up the limited space available, less than 1,000 square meters, and be able to enjoy the neighborhood of the Stanbix Bank, the neighborhoods of the EU and the African Development Bank, Ministry of Finance, to mention but a few. This is a very strategic location for you, secure, and at your application to National Housing, you should be able to access your office space right in the CBD. We offer machinery, plant and equipment for construction. We have these in our stock, not stock, but in our yard. And so if you need to open up your site, if you want to open up your land, we can have this machinery accessible to you for hire, for rent. And also, we've also been engaging with construction companies that have gotten jobs to be able to support them in delivering those contracts. However, for today, Solomon and our viewers today, I would interest you in this chart, which runs from 1 to 20. Under this chart, we seek to run the entire housing value chain. The only way we can meet the needs of every Ugandan, as our vision and mission is to make sure that we touch every Ugandan, every interested partner with us at every stage, at every node of delivery of real estate. And as you notice from number 1, we'll be offering land management services We'll further provide design services. We'll offer quantity surveying services because we have all these professionals registered, accredited, and you cannot go wrong with us. We will be going into material testing services. We're joining hands with the National Building Review Board to set up the first national materials testing referral center. And this we're going to put it up at Ruboa, where we have quite substantial sizable land. We're looking to do project planning and management services. We understand that many of you in the diaspora have hit snags at each of these nodes. And we're saying your National Housing and Construction Company Limited is available at your disposal to give you this credible service. We're looking to provision of prefabricated construction materials. We know many of you have burnt your fingers and have lost your money in buying materials and products on the market that either are substandard or are just mimicking what it should have been. But we think that come next year, 2022, through the entire housing value chain, we should be able to offer you these construction units. We'll offer you welding and prefabrication services in aluminium, in steel, and we want to invite you come next year for that quality service. Historically, I think the Casements Limited were part of the franchise of National Housing until when they were sold off. We now look forward to reestablishing these services because we understand that most Ugandans, every Ugandan who is developing at some point is at a certain level of development. If you've already built and you are looking to that quality window, that quality door, we want to invite you. We're looking at quality products. We have quality centers where we're going to be producing good quality rock and stone for you to use either in your construction, in roadworks, or any other construction works. To reach every Ugandan, we desire to establish hardware outlets for you, for the market to be able to compare cross-board and appreciate that if I need that quality input material, I should first visit the National Housing hardware stores, whether it's for steel, whether it's for plumbing, electrical, electromechanical. We also under 11, and I will be sharing this in the next slide, under the housing products, the various housing products that I'm going to enumerate when we get down. We also offer rental schemes under the various products that we develop, and I'll be highlighting these. We have also opened a window for facilities management services. Some of you already have products. When we sell to you a unit or a product, it be an institution, you've had challenges managing it through its O&M phases. As National Housing, we've offered to get into that business bracket. As our name is National Housing and Construction Company Limited, that name gives us two mandates, housing, but also the construction side of things. So we're able to build for you, not only houses, but also roads and any other works, including third-party works, whether they're in water, in energy, oil and gas. You'll visit us and you'll be able to join hands with us in delivering these services. I've already mentioned about plant and equipment. We'll be doing environmental studies. We're looking at traffic impact studies. All these inform the projects and the entire housing value chain. Without this, you cannot have an approval for you to start the development. So we know that you've been walking a long journey and we want to do this. But most importantly, and number 19, we've opened up a window for collaboration and partnerships where we are engaging with landowners, we're engaging with financiers, we're engaging with the developers, we're engaging with institutions that you come together and we discuss. Many of you, we know you have big chunks of land and this land is standing idle, either at your farm, you've had the desire to develop it into a residential establishment or an institutional establishment, but you do not have the resources, you do not have the technical expertise, you do not know, you are in the diaspora, you do not know how to engage locally, to run through the designs and approval. So we're inviting you, come knock the doors of National Housing and Construction Company Limited. You engage with our professionals and the gurus. We look out, we work out a matrix where you bring in your land, you bring in your hardware, you bring in your finances, and we work and smile together to the end product. So really, Solomon and viewers, what follows right in the slides is what I've enumerated, and I'll be able to share these slides so that everybody can pitch camp at the level where they need assistance. I've talked about land management. URA has just talked about the transactions and the taxation in land. We should be able to run that mile for you through land acquisition services, selling and buying. We're looking at those of you who have land that is lying idle. We are going to be putting strategic business units, whether it's tree planting, whether it is the alternative use for the land as you wait to probably put that mega project that you want to deal with. We'll be offering land surveying services. Diaspora, I have a challenge, visiting lands, your boundaries are getting lost, and we want to invite you that through our professional cadres, surveyors, we want to move and do that for you. Be able to give you the deed plans and land titles. We also can do we can master plan your land. You can't be in UK, in US, elsewhere, and then you begin to engage off ground with how you want to master plan your land. Visit the National Housing and we'll give you these services. And you only say you have a finished product, a house, but do you have a good piece of plot of land that I can believe its quality is true? So we'll be selling standard plots, we're also offering serviced plots, but we can also do landscaping and gardening. Under the professional architecture design services, some of you have already had land you've designed, but all you are missing is the architecture designs. Our professionals will offer this service, the structural, the electrical, electromechanical, project reviews. Some of you have projects that are seated with you and need just mere review for them to progress. Knock our doors and this service will offer to you. We're looking at concepts and feasibility studies before they are approved and logged on the Uganda Investment Authority platform. We're able to do this for you, as well as building project business cases. Some of you have come to us. You have a design is complete, but you want the bills of quantities. You cannot even know what cost it's going to, the cost you're going to meet in delivering this project. So project cost estimates, project material schedules. Some of you want to start construction by yourselves. We should be able to break down this design for you into the material schedules. You require 1,000 bags of cement. You require 10,000 pieces of bricks. You require so much steel, name it. These are services that are open to you as our partners and diaspora customers. We'll be looking at project materials and specifications. There is quite a lot on the market I've mentioned through our hardware stores. We'll be doing this to quality control the works, but also we can help you specify through the technology that is available in the market. We are engaging with the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness to be able to do damage and disaster assessment. These are aspects that as national housing, most of these people, when calamity has befallen, then they are being relocated, and we're saying this is quite handy with national housing. In the material laboratory services, which I mentioned, through the National Building Review Board, and where we hope to scale out countryside, we'll be doing the technical investigations, building materials testing, bearing capacities. We'll be testing the steel and the wood and the concrete products and any other material to make sure that the product that comes on the market is quality. Construction, project planning and management, I mentioned. If you have a project and you need these services, visit us, whether it's an institution, whether it's government through the MDS, ministries, departments, and agencies, but also the individual clients whom I'm addressing this afternoon. I pray that you'll visit us and we can do that docket for you for safe delivery of your project. I've talked about materials. We'll be looking at concrete products. We are getting into production these products. The blocks that you need, that quality, the paving blocks, the concrete poles, culverts, name them. Give us your order and we'll deliver to you for the project before your hand. In the prefabrication, I've already mentioned steel products, aluminum and others. But now in the clay products, dear listeners and viewers and clients and customers, you appreciate that Uganda clays, up to until some time of divestiture, it was just a branch of national housing. It gave us that brand of the clay tiles for all buildings I've mentioned before, whether in Kororo, Nakasero, or Bugorobi. But that was divested, and it stands alone now as a fully-fledged institution that is into the production of clay tiles. We are seeking to go back because many of you have complained of our pricing, you've complained of how we can deliver an affordable product. We cannot deliver an affordable product when we are not in charge and control of the input materials. So we hope to open this window again, and so this can be handed to us. and other clay products, whether they are tied.
Keke, you just have about a minute to wrap it up. Yeah.
The quarry products I mentioned, but also we hope you'll meet us in cities and municipalities where we want to be doing mass housing in municipalities and cities to control and be able to mitigate the increasing numbers. But important under 11 is the housing development. This is where I probably concluded. We've been giving you turnkey units. Some of you have demanded you need share units where you can customize and do your finishes. We'll provide that in the coming year. The customized units, we can engage with you and finish the unit to your taste. But we also are moving to offer you furnished units. Those of you who want furniture right into the units. We also have mentioned commercial properties. Warehousing, we have warehousing we can lease to you or we can do with you. And also, the number of products as enlisted, I will share this. But lastly, Solomon, the rental scheme, where diaspora can quickly access our products through the rent-to-own scheme of the finished products. The pure rent, we negotiate with you at affordable rents, both for commercial properties where we can give you rent, for rental spaces at City Bob mentioned, warehousing mentioned, but I want to thank you. The others will be shared across through the slides, and I hope we can attract you through these services in the coming year so that every Ugandan is serviced through the entire housing value chain. We want to invite you, those of you who have the money, to partner with us in this Bukerere Satellite City project that seeks to deliver more than 10,000, the first satellite city in Uganda on a freehold land title that we hold. I want to thank you and invite you to visit us at National Housing. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Kenneth Kaijuka there, the CEO of National Housing and Construction Company. Kenneth, can I just say that I am really proud of you, at least for the record. I love the fact that you have diversified away from just putting up units to actually looking at the whole construction value chain. If I was seated on your board, I would give you another chance to continue managing National Housing. And this is really cool. I mean, from hardwares to fabrication to housing development to, that's really a wide range of products that you have come up. I don't know if they're already operational or it's a project for 2022, but whatever it is, I am super proud of what you're doing at the National Housing and Construction Company there. Thank you very much, Kenneth Kaijuka there, the CEO of National Housing and Construction Corporation. People in the diaspora, I mean, this is really cool. So many products to invest in. So I'd love you to look at, Kenneth, if you can just drop the link to your presentation in the Q&A section there, or to the chat section, we can be able to get it, or Ronnie Mayanja can work back end to make this available to everyone who is following this discussion. Quite a thrilling presentation there by Kenneth Kaijuka. Thank you, Kenneth. You and I may need to talk very soon, so you could just give me a call or something so you can see how we can make all these products known to Ugandans. It's interesting. I've just been hearing this for the very first time. All right, thank you. You're watching the Uganda Diaspora Homecoming Gala and Expo Virtual Edition live from Kampala, Uganda. Wherever you're watching, thank you so much for being part of this broadcast brought to you by the Uganda Diaspora Network in partnership with the Uganda Investments Authority. So thank you very much for staying with us. I have a number of about 3 or 4 people before we can close this broadcast. I want to give this opportunity to Arthur Mukembo, who is the Regional Director of Remax Uganda. Remax is into real estate as well. Arthur, you're very welcome.
Pleasure to listen to our senior engineer Kaijuka, and as well to everyone who has joined us on the call today. Thank you all for sparing time. I think in the interest of time, I'll dive in right away. From our perspective, it's really about how to get started, leveraging some of these amazing opportunities that you're seeing in the real estate perspective or dimension. And so I thought a good way for us to have that discussion is to take a case study approach. Remax is a professional services company in 120 countries around the world with about 120,000 professionals. And we do valuation, transaction advisory, surveying, property management, the full range of services. And we're really proud to have worked with some of the leaders in this market as well, and to be learning from the Ugandan market as well on an evolving basis. But really we support from the residential side, commercial real estate, and from the luxury real estate perspective. But to zone in on where we are today, I think the discussion is around why would you want to invest back home? And for me, from a real estate perspective, there are multiple ways you can tackle this. One of which is perhaps you just want to diversify your incomes. You're looking to enjoy those cash flows that come from these opportunities. Maybe you're looking to build up some asset value into these assets that you can pass it on to your children or leverage it in future for new investments or to realize your exit. It could also be from a dividend perspective. You've seen Capital Markets Authority earlier. There are opportunities like real estate investment trusts that will be coming up in future, which you could also leverage to have easy exit and entry into real estate portfolios and therefore to enjoy the dividend potential that they do present. From a tax optimization perspective, real estate is also a very good way to optimize your tax liabilities. As you've seen, there's a 75% allowance for investments into your real estate before you then have that income tax. So how can you leverage that opportunity to generate some income? So for many in the diaspora, there are multiple ways in which you could potentially get started, or the question is normally, how do I start? How do I begin on this journey? And we found that they normally break into one of four baskets. Either you're building something for yourself to occupy, yourself or your family to occupy. It could be a bucket where you're investing individually using your savings, using whatever income you're able to mobilize yourself. It could be that you want to come together with a group to be able to execute this and to do it in a way that sort of makes sense for you or is able to help you to realize a return on your investment. But finally, it could also be like what National Housing is doing, where you come in to do this on a commercial basis, and you don't have to obviously start at the scale of our very valued partners that are National Housing. You could start on an individual basis and start to grow from there as you grow out your portfolio. But really, real estate has multiple ways in which you can get involved, in which you can get started. So today I wanted to present a particular case study from which we are going to try and explore all these four opportunities and how they could manifest through an opportunity like this. So I'd like to introduce this particular project. Please join me for this brief video. That was a quick recap of Ivory Estate Sunday. That's one of the projects that we've been very proud to support. It's a project by the Makerere University Retirement Benefit Scheme, which is the one of the largest pension schemes or retirement benefit schemes in the country, with assets under management of more than 250 billion Uganda shillings and more than 3,000 members as part of its community. So when they were looking to diversify into real estate, they thought, okay, one of the opportunities we could go for is this mixed use or service plot type development. But having availed this opportunity, so for them, they get to benefit from obviously the capital gains on that, the revenues from that, so on and so forth. But how do you now come in as an individual? How do you come in as a group? How do you come in on a commercial model to benefit from a project like this? So from that perspective, it's where features like the fact that these plots come with ready freehold titles already gives comfort to whether you're an owner-occupier or you're a commercial developer. And with freehold titles, you get a perpetual interest or an interest, that's infinite in nature in this particular piece of real estate. So that's already comfort to our friends in the diaspora. This site in particular comes with a ready road network. It comes with this site-wide electricity already installed. It comes with these water points already installed. Drainage is already installed. So you really just have to come in and begin to leverage the site. You also get to enjoy solar lighting, which is already installed and means that you can already begin to enjoy the estate even from today. So why invest in a particular opportunity like this? And keeping in mind the other four archetypes or perspectives or approaches of the investor, there are multiple benefits. One is that Sonde itself is a fast-growing area, just neighboring Namugongo. And that whole borough has a very strong growth potential simply because of the profile that we're seeing in our young people, that we're seeing in our early career and mid-career professionals. The sites are all occupation ready. If you go ahead and seize the opportunity today, you can actually begin to fence it off and do whatever you'd like to tomorrow, even though we don't recommend fencing, but you can do whatever it is that you'd like to take possession of your site. We do offer free topographic surveys, so just to help you prepare for construction, free title searches and free boundary opening, just to get you to a point where you understand the opportunity and what you can do with that particular site. We have about 16 ready-made designs. I'm going to show you a few examples that people are able to leverage to begin to explore multiple investment opportunities around this site. So really, when you combine all of these, the sites are construction ready. So as soon as you become a customer today, you can actually begin construction or get on the process of construction as soon as next week or the week after, in that kind of a sense. So really what we've tried to do is to make it super easy for a diaspora customer or anyone in Uganda as well to seize this particular opportunity. In terms of flexibility, we realize that not everybody is able to pay upfront for these particular types of units. So there are payment options where you can stagger your payment across a couple of months, or you can come in to do financing through our lending partners. These are some of the examples of the designs that we have available. They span from your more conventional to more contemporary designs. And the whole idea is that as you come on as a customer, you're able to very quickly leverage these designs to help you think through opportunities going forward. For those who are working as a group or working through a commercial model, you can come in and actually pick off some of the commercial opportunities through our district on the commercial side to provide services, to provide accommodation, to provide different types of models that the community can then leverage. So a lot of opportunity, whether you're an individual, whether you're a group, or whether you're doing this on a commercial basis. These designs, we partnered with the Design Garage, which is a leading architectural studio. So we'd be very happy to also link any customer from the estate to the special package we've designed with Design Garage to be able to help them get started along this journey. In terms of notable surrounding developments, this site is strategically located near the industrial park. It's located as well near Mukono industrial area. You've got Uganda Christian University, the Catholic and the Anglican Martyrs Shrines. So it creates a lot of opportunities, and we've seen a lot of customers coming forward to take advantage of this. And these are the types of customers that are also interested in Seta, in Bukere, Charlie Wajala, and all these surrounding areas. And from those who've taken, we've seen a mix of employed and self-employed. We've seen people ranging from mid-career to senior career professionals and to those who are semi-retired or who've just entered their retirement. So a broad spectrum of potential customers you could be speaking to. The typical household incomes we are seeing from our customers are in the region of about R1 million and above per month. And so it's a really accessible opportunity for quite a couple of people in that sense. So as an investor from the diaspora, how do you get started? As I've shown, you can come in as an owner-occupier by building your primary residence there. You can also set it up as a holiday home, and we'll walk that journey with you across the entire spectrum. You can come in as a commercial developer or in a group to do a small or a large-scale mixed unit development. This is where you're building houses or units to sell, which can be both the residential side, or you also see some of the commercial opportunity to build these commercial units out. It could be employee accommodation. We've shown you the different variety of employers in the vicinity of this site. It could be faculty accommodation because of the university nearby, hostel opportunities. You have retirement home opportunities as well, not only because of the nature of the developer we're working with, but also because of that community in the broader Sonde, Mukono, and surrounding areas. It's also a fantastic opportunity for starter homes for young professionals, simply because of how near it is to the city. And finally, for long and short-term rentals, more so as you leverage the opportunity that is the Anglican and Catholic shrines with the Uganda Matters pilgrimage that happens on an annual basis. So you celebrate our tourism, you celebrate our culture, but you also get to enjoy the income streams from this particular opportunity. So I know we had very little time today, but I hope that gives you an opportunity or an idea of how you can get started investing in real estate in Uganda. And for any more questions, please feel free to send them through to us. We'd be happy to have a conversation. Back to you, Solomon.
Arthur Mukembo, the Regional Director, Remax Uganda. Arthur, this is really great. It's really, really great. And the people on this space can really take advantage of these different products that you've just talked about. Arthur Mukembo, thank you very much for sharing those in detail. Arthur, could you just drop that presentation or a link somewhere so that people can be able to go back and, you know, refresh and relook at your presentation or at the different products? You can also drop the website for the for Remax so that people can just go and navigate around. Those that don't have an opportunity to interact directly with you, they can just go on the website. I think the website also has the contacts, but quite great, fascinating things there. Arthur Mukembo, Regional Director, Remax, thank you very much for speaking with us and sharing all those wonderful investment opportunities for the people in the diaspora. Thank you, Arthur. All right, speaking of housing, let's bring in the Housing Finance Bank. Let's speak to Head of Mortgage and Customer Banking, Housing Finance Bank, and that is John Baptist Kawesi. John Baptist, you're very welcome.
Solomon, good afternoon to you all. Good evening, good morning to those the brothers and sisters in Canada. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to share with you what we have. My name is John Baptist Kawesi. I'm the Head Mortgages and Consumer Banking. Allow me to share my presentation in just a minute. Solomon, please let me know if you can see it on your side.
No, we cannot. We cannot see it. I think we cannot. We cannot see it. I think what we could do, John Baptist. I think what we could do, because we were not seeing. Oh, it's there. Okay, great. Now we can see it. Kindly please keep it under 10 minutes. Thank you. Now we can see it.
Thank you so much, Solomon, and thank you all. So we are going to walk you through our competitive customer solutions. Allow me to get started by giving us a preamble of who we are. That is Housing Finance Bank. We are exactly 54 years old. Since inception, we've been evolving over the years. Our vision is there to be the preferred consumer and business bank with a focus on housing finance. So it's not by accident that we are the best when it comes to structuring the mortgages. We've been doing this for the past 54 years. We have 17 branches currently, and our customers can tap into this big network of over 16,000 agents. I'll speak about the digital banking solutions. I'll also emphasize the capability that we have for all our customers in terms of accessing the different ATMs across the country. In terms of ownership, we are the largest indigenous bank in Uganda. In fact, we are one of the few banks in excess of 1 trillion shillings in terms of total assets. We are owned by NSSF, 50% shareholding, followed by Government of Uganda at 49.18% and National Housing at 0.82%. So briefly, that's who we are. Just to give a snapshot of the macros, I thought it would be important to share with the brothers and sisters what's happening in that particular landscape. That's where we are in terms of the headline inflation, projected to close at 3%. The central bank rate has remained stable at 6.5. My colleague from Bank of Uganda, Dennis, spent a lot of time on treasury bills and bonds. I'll just speak to what exactly we have in terms of the offer to you. The GDP, that's where we are. The exchange rates are relatively stable at 3,599. And that's where we are in terms of the debt-to-income ratio as a country at 52%. A lot is happening in the country, and I've highlighted some of the major contributing sectors. Housing and real estate is a big one, and we encourage you to invest in that particular sector. There's power and infrastructure, there's agriculture, services, as well as the health sector. So this is the catalog that we are going to go through. We'll start with the loans, all the credit solutions, the transactional banking solutions, specifically for you who is working outside Uganda, the savings and investment solutions, as well as the bank assurance. So I'll start with our mortgages or the home loan solutions. We have a bouquet of solutions that will suit your need depending on what you're looking for. But I would like to start by emphasizing the outright purchase. So we partner with a number of developers and other players in that particular sector. So it depends on where you would like to buy your property, whether Nigeria, whether Kololo. Just mention the place. We shall be able to support you. And currently, we are the only bank that is able to do for you 100% financing, as opposed to what it was in the past, where you were expected to make 50% contribution, 30%, and so on and so forth. Once you identify a property, we are willing to finance 100%, and then you can take ownership of the property. So that is the first category I wanted to speak about. And we have flexible payment terms, depending on what you're comfortable with, but you can pay from 1 year up to 20 years, depending on the affordability and what you're comfortable with. So we are very flexible. And when it comes to the turnaround time, we make sure that we surpass your expectations. We work together with the different stakeholders to make sure that we give you that excellent customer experience. We also support land purchase in case you would like to purchase plain land, or you want to do home improvements. So whatever need you have, please talk to us. We'll be able to finance you. We have a number of developers, like I mentioned, that we work with, that we also support in terms of project financing. So in case you have a company or you've come up with a business model whereby you have land and you like to develop and sell, we can as well finance you in that regard. We have what we call equity release. I know many of us have properties, and those properties are worth millions of money. For example, Solomon, your house could be worth 300 million as an example. So what we are saying is, as opposed to holding that value of the property that you own in a house, we can release back that capital, 70% of that value. We release it back to you for investment in other businesses or ventures. If you want to buy more units, if you want to develop other properties, we give you back that money so that you can continue with your business ventures. So that's what we refer to as equity release. Commercial mortgages or commercial properties, if you're putting up a commercial property and you need financing, please talk to us. We shall be able to serve you. We also introduced an interesting product that we called incremental housing loan. This is a type of home loan whereby it's affordable, and we do lend as little as 1 million shillings. If you want to build in phases or incrementally, for example, if you want to start by completing your foundation and you need 2 million, we can give you that loan. Maybe you completed constructing and now you're left with roofing, you need 2 million, we can support you. Maybe you need to build a perimeter wall, we can support you. So we're not talking about the big facilities, even small facilities in an incremental kind of framework. We shall be able to support you. Please talk to us, irrespective of your revenue or your income. So in brief, that is what we have under the home loans of the mortgages. And we are proudly associated with a number of real estate players. As you can see what I've shared here, these are some of the major players here: Uganda Land Board, BuildNet, Comfort Homes. Without really going name by name, almost every key developer or player in this sector is partnering with Housing Finance Bank. Other competitive loan or credit solutions. So depending on your need, whether you are an individual or a business, we have different solutions. So we do more than home loans or mortgages. We provide all the other services that you could be looking for from a commercial bank. So we've highlighted some of the facilities, agriculture credit financing, whether you want to do vehicle or asset financing, trade finance, whatever you need, please talk to us and we support you. Transactional banking, we have a number of solutions. I'll start with remittances. We have a number of remittances partners. So if you want to send money back home, either directly into your bank account or to your loved ones, you can choose any of the partners we've highlighted here: World Remit, Transfast, MoneyGram, Western Union, Small World. Please look no further. All these solutions are in-house. We also have a number of digital channels: mobile, internet, whether you want individual or company, we are able to serve you. We also have different types of cards, and these cards work on the different channels. Whether you travel out of the country, you don't need to go and process transactions with physical cash. Just go cashless. I also spoke about agent banking earlier and the opportunity that we've provided our customers to tap into that big network of agents across the country, over 16,000 agents. The next item I want to talk about is savings and investment. We have a number of savings products or solutions, irrespective of the demographic orientation, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult, whether it's a student. We have different savings accounts. Please talk to us, and most of these accounts come with embedded insurance. In case of death or permanent disability, the next of kin gets that benefit from Housing Finance Bank. Even when you're still alive, in case you have permanent disability, there's that insurance benefit that we provide just by virtue of having that savings account with us. We also offer fixed deposit accounts at competitive rates. In case you have some money you would like to invest in the near future, talk to us. We shall give you a reasonable return on your investment. Talking about government securities, I know my colleague Dennis spoke about the government securities at length earlier, but what I wanted to emphasize here is the fact that Housing Finance Bank is one of the few primary dealers in the country. So in case you want to purchase these government securities, talk to us. Whether you want to do treasury bills or bonds, we'll be able to serve you. I know many were asking if I'm somewhere in Canada, all out of the country, am I able to purchase government securities through Housing Finance Bank? The answer is yes. Just open an account online. I'll share with you the process of opening an account. So when you become our customer, you just give us an instruction and we can purchase those treasury bills and bonds on your behalf, and you start earning from wherever you are. Please don't look any further. Housing Finance Bank is here to help you make the best investment decisions. We also provide custodial services as well as free advisory services. So depending on what you're looking at in terms of the savings or investment, please talk to us. Even before becoming our customer, we shall advise you at no cost. I want to talk about bank assurance because we are one of the major players in the market. In fact, 2020, we won this accolade as the best innovative bank assurance agent. So bank assurance, this is where the bank acts as an agent on behalf of the insurance companies. So you don't need to move from one insurance company to another because we work with a number of insurance companies. So when you talk to us, you're talking to a number of them and we give you options. We can also guide you and advise you accordingly so that you make the best decision. So Housing Finance Bank is known for playing a major role when it comes to insurance. So we have different solutions when it comes to insurance, whether it's travel insurance, life cover, fire or burglary, natural calamities, motor vehicle insurance, whether you want to finance your insurance premium, whatever you need, medical.
Maybe you have 1 minute to please wrap it up. You have 1 minute, JB, to wrap it up.
Thank you, Solomon. So we have a number of reasons why we are encouraging you to insure with us. I've highlighted some of the reasons, but I would like to move a bit faster since I'm left with 1 minute. So our customers in the diaspora bank with us regardless of where they are. As we've indicated here, we have customers across the globe. And the process of opening a diaspora account with Housing Finance Bank is in 4 phases. The first step, please log on to our website and download that application form. Then you scan and attach that document, send it via that email address we've highlighted. Later, you can send us the hard copies, and then you will receive your account number via your preferred email address. You can credit your account using a transfer, for example, Western Union, like I earlier mentioned, and the money will be credited directly into your bank account at Housing Finance Bank. In terms of contacting us, we have our manager, High Net Worth and Diaspora, that is Helen, and I've highlighted the email address as well as the contact, and our manager, Home Loans, that is Jackson. I've highlighted the contacts as well as the email address. You can also utilize the WhatsApp number I've indicated here in case you have a question or any consultation. You can reach us. We shall communicate to you. We have a dedicated team that is going to respond to you 24/7. We also have that email address in case you'd like to reach us. Thank you so much, Solomon, and the rest of fellow Ugandans. In case you have any questions, please feel free to engage us. Thank you so much. Back to you, Solomon.
Well, the festival is coming up, so be sure to join us in Ottawa. We were before in Toronto, now we're moving to Ottawa. Everyone who is in Canada, we are coming, and registration is on. If you want to be part of the convention, just go to the website for the Uganda Diaspora Network, or you can actually go to Post Bank and register. If you're in Uganda and you're on this call and you want to share your business opportunities with the people in Canada and in the US, please go ahead and register for the Canada Convention. It's coming up, so be sure to join us for that expo. And Canada, I can't wait to come over. Ottawa will be the place where we shall be. So thank you very much. Well, again, if you've just joined us, welcome to the Uganda Diaspora Business Expo, which is happening here. It happens annually. We're always at the Kampala Serena, but this time because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're having a virtual edition, and we are continuing to bring you the different opportunities that you need to invest in, but also getting you closer to some of the government officials who are supposed to be helping out. Unfortunately, we cannot have officials from NERA. The person who was supposed to be speaking from NERA, that is Gilbert Cardillo, who is the Public Relations and Corporate Affairs Officer from NERA. He was supposed to speak to us about how you can apply for the national ID at your different places. He got an emergency and he couldn't be able to join us for this evening, so we apologize that we are not able to bring you people from NERA. All right, we have about 13 minutes to close the broadcast, so we need to wrap this up very quick. I want to invite now Susan Namlindwa, who is the Vice Chairperson for the Canada Africa Chamber, to speak to us about how governments can actually trade with Canada. What are the investment opportunities that we can tap into Canada? Well, Susan Namlindwa, a very good evening from Kampala, and I know you're coming to us live from Canada. Susan, you have the floor. You're welcome.
Thank you, and good morning. Good morning from where I'm at. It is a pleasure to be here this morning, and I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit, Solomon, if you allow me. As it comes to the government doing business with Canada, the Uganda government has an embassy in Ottawa, so I'll let them handle that. What I want to focus on, in view of the convention that is coming, in view of the trade, I am with the Canada Africa Chamber of Business and also the Executive Director of Africa Trade Desk. We live and breathe trade. So we live to highlight trade opportunities to increase bilateral trade between Canada and the countries of Africa. In this case, it's Uganda. We know about the trade deficit. The trade flow between Canada and Uganda is dismal, just a little over $11 million US. And even that has a huge deficit. And also listening to the conversations that we've had here all the time. Most of the time, the diaspora is underutilized in the fact that we try to attract the diaspora to invest back at home. But the diaspora is also another resource. Besides being senders of the remittances, we could be a bridge into these countries. For example, right now we are talking about agribusiness and all that, investing in agribusiness. There is an opportunity for businesses to really export to Canada, to the US, to other places where the diaspora are. But what hinders the Ugandan businesses most times is lack of capacity to fulfill these orders or lack of proper standards. And this is where the Canada Africa Chamber of Business and Africa Trade Desk can come in. So before I do anything else, I'll plug right here. If you have not signed up to come to Ottawa in July next year, I don't know what you're doing. You need to be here because we are going to highlight business-to-business opportunities. Businesses that are in Uganda that would like to export to help with that trade imbalance, but don't know where to start. We will be happy to facilitate those conversations for you. Are you looking for just not even, you don't know what you can do, but you're a business person in Uganda and you're looking to explore what opportunities are available in Canada? We can do that. And we're going to have real conversations and real Canadian businesses at the convention to be able to facilitate those conversations. I would like to also emphasize the fact that there are some business people in Uganda that would like to look at investing in businesses in Canada. We are happy to do that. As for other opportunities to partner with Canadian companies that want to do business in Uganda, we are happy to do that. There's opportunities, for example, in housing. I had a lot of manufacturing. I had a lot of opportunities in agribusiness. Canada is known for its agricultural, it's cold, but they have mastered, or we have mastered. In this case, I'm going to count myself on this side, the art of growing and exporting agricultural foods and products all over the country, even with a short growing period. So there's an opportunity to transfer that expertise in partnering with Canadian companies. We are happy to facilitate that. And those conversations, you feel free to reach out to us, either through Ronnie and the Diaspora Network, or we could put contacts in the chat so that people can reach out. We really want to encourage the members of the diaspora as well. The diaspora, if utilized for more than remittances, we can open those gaps, open those bridges for the businesses in Uganda to reach outside markets. And for the businesses in Uganda, sometimes maybe we need to have those conversations where one or two businesses come together to be able to fulfill these orders that we have. So we have those opportunities, but most of all, I want to invite everybody that can. And if you can't, find somebody who can and send them to Ottawa in July 2022. We'll be happy to welcome you and facilitate those conversations. I'm going to be gracious because we are about to finish, and there's want to leave that room to conclude before the cut-off time. but I'm available for questions either through the chat or afterwards. If you have any questions about doing business in Canada, I'll be happy to answer those for you. Back to you, Solomon.
Susan, thank you. Thank you very much for that. And of course, we cannot absolutely wait for 1st to 3rd of July. The Canada Convention is coming up, and we absolutely cannot wait to see you and also to hear what is in stock there. Thank you very much. Susan Namanindwa there. Susan is the Vice Chairperson, Canada Africa Chamber. Thank you very much. We're running out of time, so I just want to invite Winfred Warui, who is a Diaspora Relationship Manager for Equity Bank, to come in. Winfred, you're very welcome. Winfred?
Can you see me? Can you hear me? Solomon, please confirm that you can see me.
Winfred, we can see you and hear you.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Thank you very much for the chance to present today. My name is Winfred Warui, and I'm in charge of international banking and cross-border payments at Equity Bank. I hear an echo. Solomon, please confirm. Okay, great. We can go on. Yeah, so like I said, my name is Winfred Wanjiru Warui. I am from Equity Bank, and I'm tasked with growing the international banking and cross-border payments program within the institution. Just to do a brief introduction of who Equity Bank is. Equity Bank is a Pan-African bank that is domiciled in 7 countries. We are in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, representative office in Ethiopia. And also to mention that in Nairobi, we are listed in the Nairobi securities. In Uganda, we are listed in the Uganda securities as well as Rwanda. Equity Bank Group Holdings also has other subsidiaries, namely in the investment arm. We have subsidiaries in the insurance. We also have a subsidiary in the social impact program. And maybe just before I delve into what we do in diaspora banking, we have started in Equity Bank uses that its best students cleared P7, and they are taken up from senior 1 to senior 6. And what happens is the bank provides school fees for these children. The bank also pays their transportation, provides also for their pocket money, all the way from senior 1 to senior 6. So the bank will be launching this program at the beginning of 2020.
Mu biseera bino eby'ennaku enkulu buli muntu asaanira ekisingawo y'ensonga lwaki MTN Momo ekugunoomerako Thank You Points ezisinga ku za bulijjo buli lw'ojjayo ssente ewa MTN Momo agenti. Funa Thank You Points 15 ku buli siringi 10 lw'osaasaanya mu kuggyayo ssente. Gy'okoma okufuna Thank You Points gy'okoma okufuna eddakiika